Indiana Pacers.
Felix Rosenquist, he wins the 110th running of the Indianapolis 500-mile race.
This is the Fan Morning Show with Kevin Bowen and James Boyd.
The sun rising over the trees here at Grand Park. I feel like I need a Tom Rinaldi college game day special, 30 for 30, something to get us started here. On this Friday morning, day 3, Colts camp is here. It is the final morning practice of the week. They'll go a little longer today, James. They'll go until 11:15, weather permitting tomorrow. It looks a bit dicey tomorrow afternoon. And then we'll be back here Monday and Tuesday. It's actually our final morning practice / shows up here in Westfield, the Droplight Grand Park campus where we are. You know it's a gorgeous morning when the moon is to the right, the sun is to the left. Let's go.
Day 3.
Here we are.
How have you liked camping so far?
Oh, I'm a loser, so I love it. Yeah, I love it. I love it. I love it. I think it's fun. I enjoy being out of studio. I mean, honestly, selfishly, it works out great for us. You know, the show literally ends at 9:55, and we just walk 10 feet to the practice field
That
and
is true.
Get things going. Enjoyed chatting post-practice yesterday with one Ahmad Sauce Gardner. We will play that for you. I don't know. Maybe upcoming here at 8 o'clock. I think we debated a little 7:30, 8 o'clock. I think 8 o'clock. For Sauce, enjoyed chatting with him. He is a quiet, confident individual. Like quiet in literally the voice inflection,
Yeah.
to be clear, but his words are confident. His words are, I play cornerback in the NFL, and typically high-level cornerbacks, they have a confidence and a swagger to him, and I enjoyed chatting with him yesterday. So looking forward to our audience hearing that coming up at 8.
Yes, and we heard from his fellow cornerback, Travarius Mooney Ward Sr., I should add. He had his son with him during his post-practice interview. So we talked to both of the Colts' top cornerbacks yesterday. Excited to get into more of his audio as well. So I think that the flashes we've seen so far, Kevin, have been enticing. They've been promising for what that secondary can look like, especially when it comes to the outside cornerbacks, who both of whom have all-pro nods to their names.
Sound the alarm. The Colts have signed a wideout. We'll share more on that here upcoming. Daniel Jones, I thought very sharp yesterday early on, and then really kind of an uncharacteristic play there in the final period. But Daniel Jones continuing to practice, continuing to move outside of the pockets. And so we got a lot to recap from yesterday's hour-long session. And then again, today they'll go an hour and 15, and full pads scheduled to come on Monday. Mark Dykton in studio. How you doing?
I'm doing well. So day number 2 at school went well for the girls, and now I cut my fingers all up because I was doing a bunch of yard work with all this extra free time with them out in school all day. So all of a sudden your boy is getting a lot more done around the house. But morning.
Oh, look at that.
Morning to night, I was cutting down trees and branches and everything.
Oh my God, you got a green thumb, Mark Dykton.
Paul Bunyan over here.
Man, gosh. Who needs an axe when you've got the muscles of Mark Dykton?
There you go.
Unbelievable. Good work for you. I might need to call you to come over to the house here. We won't see Mark again until Wednesday. Fridays at 8 are usually Greg Rakestraw. Rake will join us here live around 9 o'clock. Mark, you said he's going to be in person with us?
He said he will stroll up, grab a chair, and plop down next to you guys at some point in the 9 o'clock hour.
Full transparency, I decided to begin our conversation with Sauce Gardner asking him a fashion question. I trust his fashion opinion.
I thought you were a little selfish in that moment, but okay.
He strikes me as an individual that knows fashion, and frankly, I don't know if you idiots know fashion. So that's why I wanted to consult him on that. And, fashion, there's a lot of debate around it, correct?
Yes.
A lot of people have varying opinions. I mean, hell, in today's climate, there's probably nothing we can frankly agree on in any way, shape, or form. And I'm talking about our world. Can everybody agree that they love the pinstripe Pacer uniforms?
Yes.
I think so. Are there people who don't like it?
No, I think it's the one thing in the world that universally everyone agrees on.
Yeah, it feels nostalgic. I enjoyed seeing it drop. I know it had been teased for a while there, but man, with the return of Halliburton and return of those uniforms, we could be looking at a very good season coming up here in a couple months.
Now, I must ask, yesterday the Pacers announced this, that these are going to be the statement uniforms. Is that correct for this upcoming season?
I never remember the official names. I'm sorry.
And again, that's why I'm kind of asking it, James. I feel like nowadays NBA teams are wearing like 5 different uniforms throughout the year. It's like, okay, which one's for the in-season tournament? Which one's for like the random 6-game package here? The Pacers seem to really enjoy I don't even know how to describe them. The Indy font that's kind of like that Carolina Panther blue color.
Yeah.
They really like those, it seemed like. But Tyrese Halliburton, to your point, took to Twitter yesterday with a little shout-out to the OGs. Let's rock. So Tyrese Halliburton, clearly a fan of the pinstripes. It's funny. When I think of a Pacer pinstripe uniform, the person that I picture wearing the pinstripe uniform is not Reggie Miller. It's honestly probably more Jermaine O'Neal or Jalen Rose, which I know sounds weird.
Interesting.
But for some reason, like in my mental imagery, that's what pops into my head. So they will be rocking these for, we'll see how many games coming up this upcoming season. A little boom baby a tag on the bottom of the jersey here. So
shout out to Slick Leonard.
What do they say? Look good, play good. What is it?
Feel good.
Feel good. They're going to look good, and hopefully they play good.
Yeah, as long as they feel good, no injuries. I think that was what derailed last season, obviously. But Halliburton coming back from about 16 months removed from that Achilles surgery, going through the legs on a dunk recently in practice. I'm feeling like he's feeling good.
So that little Pacers announcement yesterday, we did hear from one General Curtis Cignetti up there at the Big Ten Media Days. Boy, I thought Cignetti was smooth yesterday.
But you did get your wish as well.
I did.
I would say it was definitely more on the 7.5 scale than the 3 that I gave.
Yeah.
I was very happy.
He's just – I listened to Kurt Cignetti's press conference yesterday, and honestly, boys, what did I think to myself? I need a Cignetti rap album. The man has bars.
Okay.
The man has bars.
You know what he thinks of? When Meta World Peace, the photo of him and Rick Carlisle where he handed him his cassette or his CD player, and Rick actually was like he was listening to it.
Do that for Cignetti, and hell, bring Omar Cooper Jr. back to practice. It'll be better than, him trying to sing Mellencamp last year on stage. But there were just so many lines yesterday that I just loved. Absolutely loved from him. He did drop the deuce, if I could say that, on the SEC as he walked off the podium yesterday. But again, he kind of does his bars like subtly. And he offers a body language, a wink, maybe an extra second stare, maybe a pregnant pause. He's not the most, loud talking individual.
No.
But he just, I wonder how much time he spends thinking about this stuff.
I think that's what makes it funny to me is that he's so nonchalant and matter-of-fact with it because his voice inflection doesn't really change. So you basically have to listen to him talk to hear exactly what he says to realize it's a shot because the tone, the temperature of his voice really stays the same. And, he's on top of the world right now. And I also saw that he was talking to our guy, Andrew Chernoff, over at Wish, and he said something about, you guys have a target on your back. And he said, we got a bigger gun or something like that. So.
Yeah, Mark, we're going to need to play that audio at some point today. Honestly, I thought he had an Ashley Dykton comment at some point, Mark. I don't know if you caught that.
Do tell.
I believe he said something to the effect of, I've been on vacation long enough. I'm tired of being bossed around by my wife. I'm ready to boss someone else around. I feel like that's how Ashley Dykton feels with Mark taking another vacation day.
Oh, she's probably like, well, get the hell to work. What are you doing?
Leave
me alone.
Get the hell out of the house. Get the hell out. He's stalking complacency. That might have been my favorite line of the day. How do you stalk? Can I stalk complacency in the Bowen household?
I'm not sure. Is that a discussion for you and Maddie, or what does that look like in practice?
What do you just go around kind of stomping and just, looking under?
I got to get better.
Yeah. I mean, what do you mean, Max Bowen? You just took 3.2 seconds to get from the dinner table to upstairs to take a bath. We need to be up there in 2.6.
Oh, my gosh.
Stalking complacency. Gosh, I love it. I love it. Kurt Signetti in very much midseason form yesterday, and we'll play some audio from him here coming up today. Again, we'll keep an eye out, and I don't know, we'll probably get nothing today, but I know the weekend practices, James, are usually a bit more attended. Tomorrow at 4, I believe, is the scheduled start time.
Yes, sir.
And the weather does look very bad. So we'll see if the Colts make any sort of announcement just to update everyone on how Grand Park works. When we're here outdoors, you can have thousands of fans, literally multiple thousands of fans. When they go inside, that number shrinks to less than 1,000. The indoor facility here, first off, it's very state-of-the-art, per usual here up at the Drop Light Grand Park complex. But inside, those stands aren't as big, frankly, as what you have out here. So we'll continue to monitor that. Usually they tell people to line up, if you have tickets. And, unfortunately, it just becomes much more of a less accessible day of practice. So typically we don't have really a lot of indoor practices over the course of a training camp. Usually we get one or two just naturally with Mother Nature. But that's something to keep an eye out for tomorrow. We got a lot to get to on this Friday morning. Fever back in action tonight, right?
Yes, out there in Portland trying to extend their winning streak, I believe, to 5 games. They've been rolling as of late, best offense in WNBA history. That is not an exaggeration, so we'll see if it continues tonight. And also, I'm curious to see, Kevin, if there is any sort of restrictions put on Aaliyah Boston. She's probable to play tonight, which means she likely will.
Which I thought that was a great sign.
Definitely a great sign, but will they kind of play it by ear to see, okay, how much can we push this to keep her healthy for the long run?
Yeah, I was a little surprised to see her listed as probable. I kind of figured, maybe she would miss a game, considering Minnesota, you do play on Sunday, the best team in the league, or at the very least maybe questionable. So the fact that she is listed at probable, I think, is some good news on that. And Mark, have you seen the Jen Connors downtown yet?
I have not.
70,000 in throng here is one of the biggest, if not the biggest, conventions of the year, downtown Indianapolis.
Yeah, I think if we were in our old building, they'd be more prominent because we used to be right there by the convention center. But since we're north side now, I don't really see it as much. But I did see video of them just, swarming in. I'm like, the nerds have united, and they're entering the convention center.
I remember when we used to be on the circle, they would look at me because I wasn't in costume. I was the outlier. They'd be like, what in the world? Granted, some people thought I was in costume yesterday, and that's why I wanted to ask Sauce Gardner about my fashion.
Look at this nerd in his master's hat. What a dork.
Okay, well, you just wait an hour, Mark.
I'm talking
you
about
just wait an hour.
These are what the Gen Con kids said as they're having lightsaber battles.
You tell the Gen Connors, wait till Sauce Gardner speaks, and then you can have your opinion on that. So we'll play that upcoming.
Mage?
We'll play that upcoming for you here. 8 o'clock hour. Day 3, Colts camp. It is a morning dew that looks incredibly luscious, if I must say, here from Westfield, Indiana. The fields are about to get set up. Colt City coming to life. We will be here, and we've got you covered until 10 o'clock this morning. Kevin Bowen, James Boyd, thank you to on-site engineer Cam Blankenship, Mark Dykton back in studio. Fan Morning Show, 93.5, 107.5 The Fan.
checked out. Brought to you by Bet365 on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Boy, it looks to be picture perfect. I actually see a little hot air balloon. James Boyd, you catch that right over the trees over there? If you stick your head around the corner. So I don't know if that's Connor Prairie or what here on this Friday morning, but it's beautiful from Westfield, Indiana. 10 a.m. to 11:15, the Colts' third practice of camp. Several takeaways from yesterday's day 2. And yes, the Colts did make a roster move at a major position of need, I would argue. We'll get more into that here upcoming in a few. Tonight, James out in Portland. It is Fever and it is Fire. They are a notable favorite, the Fever. 8.5, 9.5 points here. So important to take care of business before I think all eyes really turn to Sunday.
Yeah, I think this game will be a good barometer to kind of see the health of Aaliyah Boston. It's good that she's probable to play tonight, but I wonder if she'll be on a minutes restriction at all, just trying to play it safe with her because she's been dealing with some right leg stuff pretty much all season.
Yesterday, Major League Baseball, a bunch of low score. Thursday's usually a quieter day in on the diamond there. A bunch of low scoring, 1-run, 2-run games here. Mark, your boys got it done in extras?
3 of 4 against the Redbirds. You love to see it.
Boy, that was a nice politically correct way to say that. Reds over the Pirates, White Sox over the Yankees, Indianapolis Indians down in Louisville. They got it done 12-7. We heard from Curt Cignetti yesterday in Chicago at Big Ten Media Day. He was certainly in midseason form. Always strikes the balance of the subtle jabs, but then enough about his football team upcoming this season here. We'll play some of that audio throughout. So I thought Cignetti, I thought on our dump scale he was closer to the 7.5 that Mark threw out there.
I mean, I should probably bet the over next time because he does it again so smooth, so subtle that sometimes it's hard to catch it unless you're just watching it in the moment. But I just laughed kind of out loud when he went there.
Someone tried to pitch him a jersey patch idea. Did you happen to catch this clip?
Yes, that was even funnier than the one about the teams down south.
Yeah, so someone tries to put, we've seen this. Ohio State's got, the Chase jersey patch, and Notre Dame's got the SoFi, and, welcome to present-day college football of getting a bunch of millions of dollars to help pay for your incredibly expensive roster. So someone pitched Curt Cignetti on one of those, but it was the Google Me picture. That's what this guy wanted the jersey patch to be.
Yeah.
And in true Curt Cignetti fashion, he simply replied with, "Is it going to make us better?" He doesn't waste words.
No.
Does not waste words.
But I also
whatsoever.
think that he's a little savvy with it. Like, hey,
Very
I don't
savvy.
mind a jersey patch as long as we get, like you said, nice chunk of change for it. Go get some players.
Speaking of jerseys, Pacers, the Statement Edition uniform this year will be going back to the late 90s, early 2000s, and it will be the pinstripe action here from the Pacers. Their press release said this: "Gold has always signaled the biggest moments in Pacers basketball. Now it takes center stage on a new Statement Edition, bringing with it the return of an icon. The pinstripes that defined one of the greatest eras in franchise history are back, reimagined for today's team and the next generation of Pacers basketball. A new statement built from an unmistakable part of who we are." The stamp of approval from Tyrese Halliburton. Shout out to the OGs. Let's rock. There's something about Tyrese, James, that I've gushed about him a million times on the court, off the court. But in pro sports, I don't think you always get new guard respects old guard.
Right.
Oh yeah, ex-player, former players, they come and speak to the team, and we all stand up and clap when they get done. Halliburton strikes me as one that has that about him, and I kind of like that. I'm kind of a sucker for that there. So I think the pinstripes look smooth. I have no idea how many games they'll wear it for, or what that's going to look like, but count me as one of the very, very numerous fans about this.
Yes, I think it'll be a nice little tribute to the throwback teams, as you alluded to, as the Pacers alluded to themselves. But on top of that, I think the kids, when they get there on Christmas and open up that first jersey with pinstripes, that's going to be a great moment for a lot of youth here in the city.
Now, when we play Sauce Gardner's interview coming up at 8, again, I started off asking him about fashion. Do I look like Waldo today?
A little bit. Maybe if you had the red hat to pull it all off, I would say. Yeah, you need that.
Need the stocking. So I'm not full-on Waldo here?
Not full-on Waldo,
Okay,
but you got a couple of Waldo vibes.
Blue
Should I
probably
go
has
high?
a Waldo hat you can borrow. Might be
Should I-
oversized, but you could probably fit in it.
Should I hide in the stands today, Mark, and have James Boyd try to find me?
I think you'd stick out like a sore thumb with all that blue and white.
Marion County tournament, shifting gears a little bit. Greg Rakestraw going to come up at 9 o'clock, and we'll chat with him about this. I saw Kyle Denrip announced yesterday. Again, renovations down at Southport, so we're going to have to move some things around because that venue certainly holds a lot. Speedway in 2027 for the semifinals there, so that's this January. And then the year after that, 2028, it will be at Lawrence North. I've never been to Speedway's gym. Been to LN many times, never been to Speedway.
I have been to Speedway before.
The spark plugs, right?
Yes. I remember Anthony Richardson did a helmet giveaway or something at that school. It was a sponsored event, and so I had a chance to stop by. The spark plugs actually followed me on Twitter, their athletic account. So followed them back, and I got to go catch a basketball game there, though. So I'll add that to the agenda when the Marion County tournament rolls around.
And what else we got? I guess, weather permitting, tomorrow and Sunday, we have a new IndyCar debuting in the year of 2028. And on the road course this weekend, you will have some testing. I want to say it's Alex Palou and Alexander Rossi, I believe, are the scheduled drivers to be doing that. So a new look IndyCar. And again, weather permitting, the Turn 2 mounds will be open there. I want to say they're going to get on the oval in September for that. So road course this weekend for those that want to get out to IMS. And again, fingers crossed they're able to get that in. Weather looks outstanding here today. We will get a weather update right now. And on the other side, we did see a wide receiver move, not only from the Colts yesterday, but also one notably around the NFL. We'll hit on that. What were our takeaways from day 2 of practice? And Mark, let's get a set here, Mother Nature-wise, on this Friday morning.
We're going to have increasing cloud cover today. It will become warmer and more humid with a high near 88 degrees this afternoon. Spotty showers are back into the mix this evening with lows near 70 degrees. I'm Fox 59 meteorologist Amber Hardwick for The Fan.
Galaxy Concrete Coatings. I believe Mark Dykton has some Galaxy Concrete Coatings going on right now. That is indoor and outdoor concrete. So think garages, basements, patios, porches, and sidewalks. Galaxy Concrete Coatings, one thing they do specialize in, certainly patios. And you want to be outside a whole lot right now. You want to entertain, you want to have neighbors over, hell, just your family in the backyard, et cetera, et cetera. So certainly check them out. Head to their website. I think, aesthetically, I was very curious. Okay, would they have something for our home over 100 years old? So was a little nervous about that, but found something. Galaxy Concrete Coatings, we went with the Jupiter style. New front porch, new sidewalk, and we're now several summers into it, and we are thrilled with the results. So, again, that's Galaxy Concrete Coatings. It's indoor and outdoor concrete, garages, basements, patios, porches, and sidewalks. Contact them today, galaxyconcretecoatings.com.
This is the Fan Morning Show with Kevin Bowen and James Boyd.
Sauce Gardner, we caught up with him yesterday after practice. Enjoyed the conversation with him. A little food critic at one point. He was dissecting some of the more iconic restaurants here in Indianapolis. We'll play that for you upcoming at 8 o'clock. And again, just a quiet swagger, James. He's not the loudest individual in the world, but he's got some cornerback confidence to him.
Yes. Do you think that his quiet confidence is helped or aided by the diamonds in his teeth?
Boy, those are nice.
I was thinking, boy,
Those are nice.
that's got to be a $100 million man doing that.
When he flashed those, I was like, man, those are really striking.
Yeah.
Those are. Yeah.
Meanwhile, I'm trying to make sure, okay, this cleaning for my teeth, this goes to our insurance, right?
I know. I'm like, wait, fluoride, is it covered or no? I mean, I know you're telling me bubble gum mint and all that, but I don't care. Is it covered or is it not here?
Exactly.
So we'll play that upcoming for you here at 8 o'clock. Day 3 of Colts camp. A little longer practice for those coming out today, 10 to 11:15. We'll get into some practice thoughts here shortly. James, we've talked a lot about the wide receiver position. The Colts signed a wideout yesterday, and league-wide we saw a former I guess you're never really a former big name, but a big-name wideout come off the open market. Let's begin with in-house. The Colts signed a guy by the name of Liam Clifford.
It sounds like he could be an accountant somewhere. Liam Clifford.
Gosh, it's so true.
I would trust him with my finances.
Yeah, I was going to say. You do your own taxes, right?
Oh, no.
You don't. Wait, is it Mark that does his own taxes? Is that it?
Might,
I don't do my own taxes either. No. Ashley does.
Oh, really? Okay.
It's Tony East.
Tony East.
That's who we were talking about it with. But no,
he's a numbers guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, Liam Clifford sounds like a guy that would call you up and be like, "Yeah, I can do your taxes for $150."
Clifford, I think of the big red dog, just like I think of Kevin's Waldo outfits. You can have some like storybook characters at camp today.
There you go. Clifford was the show back in the day. I don't think they make him like that anymore. But as far as this Clifford goes, he's an undrafted rookie out of Penn State, had 42 catches for 530 yards and 3 touchdowns across 4 years at Penn State. He also blocked a touchdown last year and returned it, or blocked a punt, and returned it for a touchdown. So I think that he's more of a special teams signing, KB, more so than the wide receiver tag that everyone kind of looks at first.
A couple other notes on this. We did see Deebo Samuel signed late last night by the San Francisco 49ers. So Deebo goes back to San Fran. Remember, he was a Washington Commander and had some nice moments for the Commanders. I know Deebo is a name that many people have brought up amongst the veteran free agents. Stephon Diggs is a name. Keenan Allen has obvious connections here with Shane Steichen. Those are some of the other names. So, league-wide, we have seen a little bit of movement there from the veteran free agent market. The Colts also worked out yesterday Chase Claypool. I think that name would ring a bell to most NFL fans. The former Notre Dame wideout, really a freak athlete from Canada. He was drafted in round 2, same draft as Michael Pittman Jr., if I'm not mistaken. And really had a nice start to his NFL career there in Pittsburgh. Honestly, Mark, and I'm not trying to disparage the Bears. It almost seemed like when he got traded to the Bears, that's when things started to kind of go downhill for him.
Yeah, he never really fit very well, and he just kind of, I don't think he meshed well with the quarterback situation at the time and whatnot, and they gave up a second or third round pick to get him. So it was kind of a costly acquisition, and then he just kind of flamed out, and I think he ended up going to the Dolphins and Bills after that.
28 years old. He last played in an NFL game in 2023. So that's a long time ago. It's 2026 for those living under a rock. He did have a cup of coffee with the Buffalo Bills a couple of years ago. But I don't necessarily think that is the move. Neither of these moves yesterday. Liam Clifford signed to your 90-man roster. Chase Claypool trying out. Neither of these moves qualify or fit, even if you would have signed Claypool, James, as, oh, yeah, this is legitimate, pushing for number 1 reps. You're trying to improve your depth chart.
I would agree with that assessment, KB. I don't think that neither guy will be a needle mover. But at the same time, I do wonder if and when we will see more of a serious approach to adding someone who has a more proven resume. Because like you said, Chase Claypool, I remember him from his time with the Steelers. And do you remember the end of the game? I forget which game it was. But they needed to like get a first down, get down, and spike the ball. He gets the first down late in the game. They're trying to drive to win, and he poses with the ball, and they ran out of time. And everyone was irate. So I think that he's always been sort of a talented guy, Chase Claypool. But on top of that, I know he's had some boneheaded mistakes throughout his career, and perhaps that is the reason why he's not in the NFL currently. But, yeah, when we're talking about wide receiver aid and help, I'm thinking of bigger names, more proven guys, and people who have just put up numbers in recent years, not when, some of these guys, we talk about guys are going to contribute with the Colts this year, weren't even in the NFL. 2023, like you said, was a long time ago.
What do you think of Daniel Jones on day 2?
Pretty sharp to start, but I know you talked about it in the earlier part of this show. Threw his first pick in 11-on-11, and I thought it was a decision that was very questionable. And one that I'm not sure he would make in a game. I'm not trying to make excuses for him, but, yeah, that was a weird play. And if you want to break it down a little bit further, I have my assessment on it. But to be honest, KB, I don't even think he would get that throw off in the game.
Well, when he threw it, I actually thought it was Riley Leonard or Anthony Richardson, to be totally honest with you. It was that poor of a decision, in my opinion, that poor of a throw. I was like, wait, is Jones already done with his period? Because I felt like he had just started that period, so I'm kind of like sifting through the bodies. I'm like, no, that is number 17.
And Riley said, put some respect on my name.
Yeah, I know. I guess that wasn't the nicest thing to say about the other quarterbacks, but I got to speak in truth here. But before that, he was great. I mean, he was sharp. He was, I believe that was his first incompletion of the day, was the interception. He had a really crisp, I thought, 7-on-7 session as well. And one thing, and again, I know we're talking about the interception right now, but one thing that is abundantly clear when you watch practice out here to me, and I know the coaching staff takes note of this, the ability for Daniel Jones to place the ball in stride is so much better than the other quarterbacks. He gives his guys chances to make plays after the catch. And I get that there's some hidden yardage in there, and I get that we're getting into maybe some dissecting, a little bit nerdy, 300-level aspects of quarterback, but from a black and white standpoint, we all chart completions and incompletions out here. And if you look at it through 2 days, there's not a stark difference, frankly, in the completion percentage between any of these three quarterbacks. But I would argue that Jones is giving his pass catchers many more opportunities to do something after the catch, or just making the catch, frankly, easier. Like, when Anthony Richardson threw the ball yesterday, my heart rate was getting up there thinking, oh, man, if hitting was allowed, we might have some trainers on the field tending to a few of these pass catchers.
KB, I don't think that Anthony threw very many passes yesterday that were completely accurate. They were in the area of the receiver.
But, again, his guys caught him, so, you're going to see the numbers.
But a couple of them, there was one where it was kind of like a short out route, and it was behind the running back or receiver to the point where they had to flip their hips.
Yeah, I'm thinking of the one to Deion Burks.
That's what it was,
yeah,
Deion Burks.
Yeah.
And he's got to flip his hips to catch it, and yes, he caught it, but he had no opportunity to get yards after the catch, to make a move and make a guy miss. It was basically like a 2-yard run because you threw it behind the guy, and as soon as he is able to corral it, the defense is on him.
Yeah, and even the interception Richardson threw, should Deion Burks have caught it? Yeah, but again, that was a high ball to Burks. And I'd argue the high throw now turns a completion that should be rather routine into a 50-50 opportunity. It goes off a jumping Burks' hands, and next thing you know, Cameron Mitchell is returning that interception for a touchdown. So, again, Jones in practice, I thought it was I get that Jones has some turnover history. We didn't really see it last year when he played quarterback, but I thought it was a rather uncharacteristic throw by him. Outside of that, again, he was very sharp. Justin Wally made a really nice play down the far sideline on a deep ball to Josh Downs. That was the only other incompletion I saw from Jones. So, again, I thought, pretty good day for Daniel outside of the pick. Again, Anthony Richardson, Riley Leonard continuing to split reps. And as we speak right now, that roster bonus, isn't that due? Is that today, the $4.2 million?
If I'm not mistaken, it was always, at least the language I understand it to be, was the third day of training camp. So do today, and then tomorrow perhaps a team could trade for Anthony, and it would only cost them about $1 million to do so, in addition to the draft compensation, I would assume a pick or something.
So let's just play this out hypothetically. You are the Minnesota Vikings. You, on the first day of training camp, you would have given, a 6th-round pick plus absorbed 5.4, something like that? $5.4 million for Richardson. Today or tomorrow, you make this trade. Let's say you throw a 6th-round pick in there. You would only have to absorb 1.2?
Yeah, I think it's like 1.1 or 1.2. But I just been saying $1 million to keep it nice and simple for you all. But obviously, very cheap. But even then, Kevin, I was having this conversation actually through the text line yesterday, 239-1070, if you want to chime in. And some of the listeners were saying, look, what if the Colts are saying we don't want a 7th-round pick or a 6th-round pick in exchange for Anthony Richardson? He's more valuable than that to us. And if I throw that at you, Kevin, would you agree with that? Because I don't want to make it seem like they just have to, as Ballard alluded to Tuesday, give him away.
Oh, yeah, I've been in the camp you just keep him for the last several months now. I mean, again, my thought back in the spring, James, was by offloading him in the spring, that would have been in the $5 million hypothetical that we just played out.
Yep.
And my thought was you would do more active things in free agency. You would have a free agency that kind of replicated last year with Javarius Ward, with Cameron Bynum. We obviously didn't see that at all. I mean, they're sitting on right around $30 million right now here on July 31st. So when you see Deebo Samuel go for $7 million yesterday to the 49ers, I mean, the Colts could very much, be in that sort of market here. So, no, I mean, at this point, I just ride it out with them. I mean, whoop-de-doo. Pick number 220.
Yeah. I mean,
your quarterback depth chart, unfortunately, has a lot of injury history.
Yeah.
And, if it's a 1 in a million chance, so be it. And I don't think it's a slam dunk that Riley Leonard should be QB2 above him, to be clear. I still think you can make a case that Anthony deserves to be the backup here. So, no, I would just ride it out. At this, I would at least see it out through the preseason. I'd like to see him in some preseason games. I know last year went horribly for him in Baltimore. I would argue that might have been the nail in the coffin when he got smoked on that blindside hit from a misidentification at the line of scrimmage here. So, but I do think it's worth pointing out today's day. And does that shift line of thinking league-wide? Again, it's not really Colts thinking. It's more of league-wide.
Right.
Is there anything that shifts in regards to Anthony? 2 practices in, and I get today will be a little bit longer in the practice session, but it is a reminder just how limited these reps are for Richardson and Leonard.
It goes by so fast, too, Kevin. I feel like we get done with our show, go mingle a little bit, and then practice is like boom, boom, and they're already wrapping up. So to your point about how limited it is, yes, especially because, as we've seen through at least the first 2 days, Daniel Jones has taken every single first-team rep, whether that's in 11-on-11, 7-on-7, even just in some of the individual drills. He's not letting up at all, and we know if it is up to him, that trend will continue throughout every day of camp.
Like yesterday, they get 3 of these team periods, and when we say team periods, just to clarify, I mean, we're talking offense, defense, we're talking 11-on-11. There was a team period that Riley Leonard got late in practice that lasted for 2 plays, and they ran the ball in both plays.
Yes.
It's like, again, evaluating Leonard versus Richardson.
Heck, there's a couple times, Kevin, where he's finishing his last rep, and the rest of the team is running to the other part of the field to begin, special teams or something like that. So
the horn's blowing.
It kind of lets you know, like, okay, well, our main guy's done. You guys finish up whenever you can get done and meet us over here.
Matt Taylor's about ready to crack a joke on the mic. Move on. Here we are. Sauce Gardner, we're going to play that for you upcoming here in about 15 minutes. Looking forward for you to hear. Sauce has got an interesting cadence when he talks. There are times where you're like, is Sauce done speaking?
I know.
And so I hope we didn't cut him off. There might be a time or two that we did, but I remember that back when he was first introduced, that first press conference that we had for him. He's just a unique talker in that sense there. And again, definitely a quiet swagger. And, I did want to throw him that question. I know I brought this up to you when we debated, most approved. Colts would have the most approved this year. He's a former top 5 pick. He's been an all-pro in the NFL. So it's kind of weird to ask a guy like that, hey, man, you got something to prove. Like, he's not Latu.
Right.
He's not Anthony Richardson. I
No.
mean, he's proven himself here in the NFL. But I thought his answer about proving himself in a Colts uniform, I think, was something that stood out to me. So we will play that upcoming here in the 8 o'clock hour. Mark Dykton, you miss us?
Of course. I hope you miss me and my scent.
I'm going to be honest. I really haven't.
That was a
Dang.
jerk thing to say.
He set you up just to dunk on you. Wow.
Have you?
Okay, Kevin.
Let me be honest. I don't want to lie detector you, but be honest.
I definitely miss Mark Dykton.
So thank you,
I
James.
miss him very much.
Kevin, you're getting
You,
tire slash.
selfish. Yeah, he's selfish.
Mark, you going to bring the girls out here at all?
I'm
Camp?
going to try to, yeah. I mean, it's interesting with school starting, so we might be looking at like a weekend session or something like that. But, yeah, I think we'd like to get out there for sure. I will at least try to make an attempt by my lonesome with all these kids at school
Well,
now.
see, no, that ain't really what we're asking. You know, and personally, as the BFF of one Nora Dykton, if you ain't bringing Nora, don't come.
Oh.
Okay? Just letting you know. This
I
is
mean,
what
you
happens.
just said something nice. Now you're hitting me over the head.
You
with
know,
a
no, I
bag of
had to
nickels.
set you. I had to, I had to put you back in your place.
Yeah, things have quickly turned.
This is what happens when, you know, my friends have children or my family have children. It's no longer about you. We only want to see the kids. Come on now.
Okay. I'll remember
Mark,
that next May when James is asking for a ride to the Indy 500 again.
Ah, that is true. I take it all back, Mark.
Mark, your favorite Kurt Signetti line from yesterday.
Oh, it has to be the veiled shot at the SEC. It has to be it.
In which he never said SEC,
That's what
but
I'm
it's
saying.
so obvious
He didn't
he's talking
say it,
about
but
it.
he sure
That's
hinted
so
at it.
funny.
Yeah, he doesn't even. Yeah, he
He's a
doesn't even
pro.
throw that acronym out there. Do you have that audio?
Yeah, just a sec.
Honestly, I think I'm more of a fan of the stalking complacency. Just 2 words. I'm stalking complacency.
Little
Gosh,
coach speak.
I wish I had clout in any form of my life to be able to stalk complacency. Like if I said to Maddie, hey, you know what? Today I'm stalking complacency in our house. I mean, she'd tell me to shut the hell
I was
up.
going to say, I think she might have a different reaction.
But can you imagine if you had that type of clout where you could say, you know, here I am stalking complacency, and people wouldn't look at you like shut the hell up?
Yeah, but he lives in a world where he can probably say anything and you have to eat it up because he's won everywhere he's been.
Yeah, that is.
He's done the impossible. He won at IU.
That is 1,000%. Mark, let me know when you have that SEC audio. Okay, this is the and to set this up, Mark, I assume you picked this up kind of mid answer here from Signetti because he really didn't get asked about. I mean, he wasn't asked directly, I guess, about the SEC. And this is the final question of his 15-minute long podium. He had an opening statement that was, you know, several minutes. He didn't mention really anything, but you know full well he wasn't walking off that stage without a little bit of a shot here. And this was Kurt Signetti's final comments yesterday at Big Ten Media Day.
The Big Ten is the best league in football, and a lot of really good football teams. It's hard to win on the road. Very physical football teams, very well coached. It definitely prepares you for the playoffs. There's no doubt about it. The numbers speak for themselves. I mean, we don't run a hype machine up here in the Midwest. We believe everything's earned, not given. And when we fall short, we say we fell short. We don't cry a river, whine, and complain. All right? And that's why we're the best.
I love it.
Whine and complain. He sounds like my grandma.
He had he noted the up here in the Midwest. So you're
Yep.
like,
Yeah. Man, I
The
love
old
it.
Midwest toughness.
I love it. Again, he needs a rap album. The man has bars. The man has
Yeah,
bars.
he definitely start off with like a Tupac level diss track.
The thing that I like about him, too, is like he's so quick with his swagger. Like his opening statement yesterday, he's rattling off all their accomplishments. You know, he's just rattling off all these top 10 wins, all these road wins. Like he's so quick with that. And then when he wants to set things up, he does a little bit of that. Now, he did mention, I know this has been a topic here with Scott Dolson recently, about expanding Memorial Stadium. You know, when you look at that venue, I don't think it necessarily fits what IU football obviously has done here in recent years. From what I've heard from Scott Dolson, though, it sounds like this is, and again, welcome to modern, you know, stadium experiences. This is going to be a more of a, hey, let's maybe take a look at the premium seating And honestly, this probably goes for Assembly Hall too. And I get Assembly Hall obviously is a massive venue from a sheer attendance standpoint, but it's a little bit more of that, suites and premium seats, and can you have a nice place for all the big boosters and NIL donors to be, hanging out and wine and dine, different wine and dine than what Kurt Cignetti was referencing right there, versus like, hey, let's turn Memorial Stadium into whatever, some 90,000 seat stadium here. But Cignetti did have a line there, if you can't expand the stadium soon enough, but also acknowledge that logistically, again, I think there are a few other things to put on the calendar. So Kurt Cignetti in very Kurt Cignetti form yesterday, Big Ten Media Days. We are about a month away from college football getting underway. I can't wait. I love college football.
I do as well, but I must admit, KB, those first couple of weeks for certain programs, I'm like, you might not get me watching that full game. But usually we get some nice week 0 or week 1 matchups.
What about Notre Dame, Wisconsin from Lambeau?
That'll get me to turn it on, but do I really think Wisconsin can hang with Notre Dame? Probably not.
Boy, Wisconsin's kind of fallen off, haven't they?
They have, and that's why, again, it takes me a couple of weeks to warm up. But at the same time, I sit here and say this, and I feel like I'm sitting on a throne of lies, because as soon as the football gets kicked, I am the degenerate watching whatever directional school's on the TV. I say that every year, even with the Thursday night game. Like, I'm not going to watch that game. It's the Browns and the Titans. Who cares?
Yeah, 2 hours later, you're on the edge of your seat. I don't know if I have come across many athletes more candid than Travaris Ward Sr. And for anybody that caught the interview yesterday on these airwaves, he was on with Jake. You certainly felt that. For anyone that listened to his press conference yesterday, you certainly felt that. And James, it's an every time thing. I mean, I go back to when he was on with JMV right after he signed, and he shared with JMV, like, I thought I was going to the Saints in free agency. Then all of a sudden the Colts came in, they sweetened the offer, and boom, I became a Colt. And it's, to be clear, it's candid in all things he comments on. His own finances, his own life, which sadly has had so much tragedy around with it. But he threw out the number yesterday, James, that he was about 80 to 85% sure he was going to retire once the season ended. I think we were curious, certainly, if he would play. But, man, that's a big number leaning towards the R word. Big number.
Absolutely. Mark, if you have that audio queued up, we can just hear from Mooney Ward himself, because I thought it was very interesting that he kind of went there. So this was his response to the first question about him kind of being back out here for Colts camp.
Just being you.
I feel good. I feel like I belong out here. I was probably like 85% sure I was going to retire. But, I found a different way, a different purpose, just doing it for Junior, doing it for Amani, my daughter. They bring me joy. They put smiles on my face. So it put me in like a better emotional and mental state to come out here and play and have the energy to come out here and run around with these young guys. Because if I'm depressed, it's not like I don't want to go out here and chase around these young guys. So I feel good. I got a lot of energy, smiling again. So I feel like I still belong out here.
Good dude, man. I was talking to him before he went up to do his news conference yesterday with the whole scrum. KB, just asking him, hey, man, it's been a year. How have things kind of been for you now that you've settled into Indianapolis for a year? And he basically said, well, now I kind of do feel settled in because he's got his family here with him. Last year, his wife and his son that kind of stayed back in Texas with closer to, I believe, her family. But this year he was like, I got my family with me. I feel more stable. And he's excited for what's to come. But that's a dude that talks a lot of conviction, KB, and I thought was also interesting throughout the interview that he gave us was he said, well, I have nothing left to prove, but now he's playing, I guess, from the standpoint of I just want to do something for my kids, my family. But when he lists off his accomplishments, it's hard not to just feel like, well, yeah, you have done everything that you could dream of. He's an undrafted guy
right,
coming out of school, and he's starting the Super Bowl, won a Super Bowl, had 2 lucrative contracts, all pro. But at the same time, I just hope that he's able to end his career on his own terms.
Yeah, he's reached the mountaintop individually and team-wise as an undrafted free agent. Financially, as you point out, certainly he's checked that box as well. When I hear that quote in that clip, it's it's honestly a bit jarring, to think how much he pondered. And just to reiterate, he had 3 separate concussions last year. He did mention yesterday he's going to wear an improved helmet. Every time I hear that, I'm like, gosh, can we get to a point from an NFLPA, CBA standpoint where everybody is wearing like the top helmet, the most, concussion-proof helmet that's out there? He said he's still debating the Guardian cap. He hasn't worn it here the first couple days of practice. But, I think what falls into the scary category for me, James, he plays the position that you could probably say is the least contact position of any. Cornerback, if you looked at the amount of snaps they play and the amount of hits that they have during a game, it's probably the least of any. And yet, and obviously one of these, just absolutely crazy concussions occurred in warm-ups when Drew Ogletree ran into him. But I can still remember seeing Austin Collie on that field in Philadelphia. And I hate to go here, but like if Mooney goes down this season, I will have that sort of reaction of just, oh my gosh, just a sick to your stomach feeling of, man, I wish you would have hung it up.
Yeah.
And let me just add one more thing. The weird part, James, and again, this gets into like your quick transition back to football. He's such a vital piece to this season.
Yeah.
He is a huge part. You're going to hear it in the Sauce Gardner interview. Again, when he was on with Jake yesterday, Sauce and Mooney were about 3 feet apart doing the interview, and I looked at those two and thought those two are such important elements to this season ending with playoff success. And yet you hear that quote, 80 to 85% or whatever he said, 85% thinking retirement. It's like, damn. Boy, you obviously root for no injuries, to be abundantly clear, but I especially root for number 7 not being on the field at any point this season.
Yes, to piggyback off that idea, KB, I know we've had some listeners chime in and ask, hey, will he wear a Guardian cap this season? He said that is a possibility. He may wear one, but he also said, quote, he has a new and improved helmet. So I know we've talked about it in the past here on these airwaves, but Jonathan Taylor has experimented with the Guardian cap. I think he wore one in a preseason game a couple years ago. But the bottom line is there's no real data that shows a whole lot of difference between wearing a great and improved helmet and a Guardian cap on top of that helmet. So I'm just putting that out there for those who are like, oh, man, this guy's dumb for not wearing it. No, he's following the research, listening to the doctors, and obviously he wants to do his best for him and his family to stay healthy on the field. But, yeah, the last thing I'll say about Mooney is I think it's sad, but it's also honorable the way that he continues to talk about his daughter, Amani Joy, who passed away in October 2024, as if she's still here. He talks about her in the present. And so when he says, I'm playing for my son, Junior, he's got him in his arms, and he's saying, hey, I'm playing for my daughter as well, and he's got her in his heart. So I have a lot of respect for the way he's kind of carried himself and navigated such grief and tragedy. And really, I think his openness about it, Kevin, is probably helping a lot of people who, unfortunately, may have gone through the same thing.
Yeah, honestly, I couldn't believe how well behaved his son was yesterday. I was like, gosh.
Max Bowen not doing that?
Well, certainly not that age.
And he looks just like Treverius.
Indeed.
I know they have the name and everything, but, boy, that is his twin.
Our combo with Sauce Gardner. You're going to hear that coming up on the other side. Fan Morning Show live, Westfield, Indiana, the Drop Light Grand Park campus. 10 a.m. to 11:15, practice number 3 for the Colts. If you're coming out, say hey. We are here on a beautiful Friday morning.
You know what time it is?
This is the Fan Morning Show with Kevin Bowen and James Boyd.
Some 8 o'clock heat on this Friday morning from one Marcus Dykton. Is it Marcus on the birth certificate?
I feel like you've asked that a dozen times. No, it's just Mark.
Jeez, man.
Dang.
Gosh, boy. He just turned that song and said, I'm shove this right up your you-know-what.
Well, the way you've treated me the first hour, I think that's so worthy
This
of
is true.
response.
Oh, grow up. Gee, dear Lord.
Mark.
You're whining like the SEC right now. You need some Kurt Signetti audio?
It's Mark, and then the S is the middle initial. That's for Steven. So there's no U in the middle. It's Mark S. Dykton. There you go.
How great was when Signetti dropped the line that he's tired of his wife bossing him around.
Yeah, I don't know if you have the same sort of cachet to do that.
I've been on
at the Bowen
vacation long
household.
enough. I'm tired of my wife bossing me around. And then he drops the line, I'm ready to boss someone else around.
Yeah. Is that how you are when you go home from camp?
I wish.
You're like, you know what, Max? Yeah, I'm tired of, actually doing things today, so run over to the kitchen
Yeah.
and give me some water.
I get my ass kicked, frankly, from that. We'll see how much you-know-what is being kicked on this practice field today. 10 a.m. to 11:15, practice number 3. Hopefully weather cooperates tomorrow. They're scheduled to go 4 o'clock tomorrow. Saturday looks a hair dicey on that front. Yesterday after practice, we caught up with one Ahmad Sauce Gardner. And again, the cadence, it might seem like, he's a quiet talker, but the words there, they certainly carry some weight. This was our conversation post-practice yesterday with number 1 for the Colts, Sauce Gardner.
In Westfield, just wrapped up. Number 1 in the program, Sauce Gardner, joining us here. James, am I allowed to start with a fashion question?
Feel free.
Sauce, you strike me as a man that has some fashion. Are you a fan of this bucket hat that I'm rocking right now? Give me a 1 to 10 and be honest with me.
I mean, I got a little golf bug, so it's I got to give it a 10 out of 10. Just off of that. And it's the Masters one, I love it.
About that, 10 out of 10. I got a lot of hate on this earlier, so thank you. Thank you. How about that?
There you go.
I'm done with the interview. Take it from here.
Sauce, for you, going into your first full training camp with the Colts, how differently does it feel to be, reacclimated with the team, whereas last year you were kind of just trying to get in and play on the fly?
I feel good, things a lot slower, just like outside of being on the field, able to start from ground zero basically with the guys and, go through that learning process with them, as a whole, so we all learn together instead of, getting traded, mid-season and then, scrambling to just try to get acclimated and, it's much easier this go around for sure.
It's interesting. You're sitting with us right now. Right behind you is Mooney. Yesterday, you guys had those, I think it was back-to-back plays. Maybe it was 2 plays in a 3-play sequence. Pass deflection, pass deflection. Was that a sample size of what you guys can be as an outside cornerback duo?
Yeah, for sure. The way we talk, the way we think, the way we know, like we the best duo in the world, so we hold each other accountable. We hold each other to a high standard because, we know what we could do. Just like today, Trey caught a slant and we was in cloud, but I was like, bruh, the backer's probably going to bite on the run. Maybe I should just stay on the slant because, I don't like just giving away free plays or watching somebody catch the ball if I'm in the zone. If I feel like I don't got a threat and I could be there, that's the standard that I hold myself to. And, that's how we are with each other. We talk about plays that we got. And, I remember doing that with DJ Reed, we'd get certain plays and we'd be talking like, yeah, I just got this, man. So they might try to run it on your side now at some point, And I see the same resemblance with Mooney, us just talking about the plays we getting and, certain things that we didn't see yesterday. I didn't got yesterday, he got today, vice versa. So, yeah.
You were talking in the spring, you want the ball more. You want quarterbacks to target you. What is that life like when you know full well you've earned the reputation game plan-wise, we're not going to test him?
I mean, off season I did a lot of ball drills, it's like you don't want it to just be for nothing. The whole off season you working on, all right, this is what I'm gonna do. Like, all right, I'm breaking this right. You use your imagination, this is gonna be my pick 6. This is gonna be my pick. And then you mess around and not even get the op. But you know, at the end of the day, I still got to prepare as if the ball gonna come each and every play. So that's what my off season is. So that's why I was saying that. You know, I want to get a few picks. You know, so yeah, that's what I want to do. That's why I said that. So. Yeah.
So when we talked in the spring, you also talked about taking on more of a leadership role. Never been a captain in your career, if I'm correct.
Right.
Is that something that you're targeting as you go into your first full season here in Indy?
Oh yeah, for sure. Being a captain, you know, that's something that'll mean a lot to me. You know, even if it ain't this year, you know, because I'm always gonna be a leader. You know, and I'm always gonna be somebody that people follow. But you know, at some point, that's something that I want to do. Something that I want to be. I remember I was talking to Slay about it. Slay didn't get his first. Darius Slay didn't get his first C on his chest till like I don't know what year it was, but it was when he was on the Eagles. Like that was his first time ever getting captain. Because you know he's like a funny guy, but he also know how to turn it on and like, all right, this time to work, and that's kind of how I am as well. So. Yeah, I'm definitely working for that.
So to follow up on that, and I did ask you about this in the spring because you told me you're getting older and you're not maybe used to or getting used to guys coming up to you with questions. You were like, wait, I was just the guy asking questions. Now you have some of the answers.
For sure.
Can you clear up the age? We talked about it in the spring. You're 24,
Yeah, I'm
correct?
24. I'll be 25 on the 31st of August, though.
What was your reaction when I'm pestering you all throughout the spring about getting this one-on-one interview to ask you how old you are?
No, it's all good. I mean, it's good for people to know. Obviously, you know, the younger you are, the better as well. So I like the fact that I'm 24, you know, going into year 5. You know, it's amazing. But obviously, at some point in year 5, I'm going to be 25. But, you know, it's good to be 24 right now.
I want to go back to the captaincy, Sauce. And I would argue you maybe have already earned the C on the chest based off your recruitment of Alec Pierce in the spring. Right? Did you lock him in the basement?
He was locked, man. You know, we did everything we could. We did everything we could to get him back, man. Yeah, I'm just glad he's here. You know, that was a great plus, you know, when I got traded here, you know, that he was here. So it would have been just unfortunate. I get traded, my boy here, and then they see, you know, he's somewhere else, you know. So it's just, that's not how it was written, you know.
You itching for him to get out there and maybe Daniel to test you on a vertical one?
Yeah, I know it's coming at some point when you go out there. I'm thinking deep post, little corner post. I don't know if we should air this anymore because then I know they probably not going to do it. But yeah, he's definitely going to run something deep at some point. So, you know, I'm looking forward to it.
But along those lines, Sauce, what is it like to have developed with Pierce and now have him as a teammate in the NFL? Because you knew him before our audience knew him, and now you're probably 5-6 years in to both of you all ascending in the NFL.
I mean, in college he was always like athletic. I think he used to play like volleyball in high school or something like that, you know. He was always athletic with hands. Me, I always had like certain twitchiness, certain instincts, but I was still figuring my body out because I was still growing, still maturing. I think I was like 17. I was like 17 when I first got to college. So, yeah, I was always like a year back, you know. So he watched me like develop. I watched him develop as well, and you know, now at this point, you know, working with, he got a GOAT as a coach. Reggie Wayne is one of the best, you know, so his route tree has just expanded from college. You know, college, people used to know he was running a post or a go ball, and they still wouldn't be able to stop it. Now he's running curls, out routes, bang posts, you know, just certain things. So it's like, you know, we were just talking. I was like, bro, I can't wait for you to get out here. You know, we're going to go against each other. You're going to get your all pro, your Pro Bowl. You're going to get it all, bro. I'm going to make sure that, you know, so I was just letting them know. So it is great to be able to just have him and, you know, one day we get to go against him again.
You've got that All-Pro label, and that is Sauce Gardner. He's with us here live from Colts Camp. Day 2 just wrapped up. Life in Indy. I know you haven't been here very long. What has life been like for you? Do you have a favorite spot or two around town? You still settling in? How has it been?
I mean, yeah, I like Harry and Izzy's. Harry and Izzy's is a good vibe. That's my spot. You know, it's like the sister of St. Elmo.
Sure.
But I think they got their dessert is like, you know, they got more dessert. They got the the warm brownies with the ice cream.
You're a sweets guy.
Skillet guy. Skillet brownie guy.
Skillet, you know.
Okay.
St. Elmo's, they're more like, we OG. We gonna show y'all this is all in the food, you know. But
You need to be a food critic. That's a great analysis
come on, I can do it all.
Now, I do want to hear a little bit more on the golf game because I know you are a big golfer.
Yeah.
So where are we at right now? What's our strength? What's our weakness?
I played like 1 or 2 rounds this whole off season.
Really?
Yeah.
That's unlike you, right?
That is unlike me. I was just locked. Man. You know, I was just making sure I'm good, taking care of my body. You know, I had to make sure I'm fully healthy, you know, able to dominate and contribute as much as I can to the team so we can, you know, get to the playoffs, you know. And the thing is, like Coach Luke keeps saying, when you get to the playoffs, anything can happen, you know. So that's what I've mainly been focused on. Not saying that would have taken away from it, but I was just very deliberate with that, you know, coming off like a freaking injury. And I'm an overthinker. You know, it helped me a lot, and sometimes it hurt me. But I feel like it helped me this offseason because I was able to, like, make sure I'm doing the right things and taking care of my body. But, you know, sometimes it be like a con because it's like, bro, why am I thinking so much about this type of stuff, you know?
So at the cornerback spot, you know this better than anybody. You make a play or nobody throws the ball your way, you don't hear about it. When it makes a play on you, it's, man, sausage on TV, he got burned, whatever. How throughout your life have you handled that sort of, you know, boom or bust position where you're graded on one play out of 60 sometimes?
I mean, at the beginning of my career, it was a little more tough. You know, when you're in college, like I've been said, everybody, it's like he's the underdog, he's gonna be this, he's gonna be that, and then it's like, all right, when I really become this and that, now it's like certain positions shift because they didn't really believe that I was gonna be who they were saying I was gonna be. So, you know, get in the league, make plays, you know, get a lot of love. That was my rookie year. Then my second year, I just had noticed, like, all right, when I was making certain plays, it wasn't highlighted as much. And if somebody caught a 20-yard pass, 15-yard pass, first down, whatever, it's like Drake London, 2-point conversion. I think that was trending on TikTok while the game was still going on. I've never seen the 2-point conversion trend that much. Even when the team still lose, even after they lost.
Right.
It's still getting posted, but, you know, it's just, it comes with the territory, you know. You know, I'm a brand at the same time. That's the reality. I got the name Sauce. You know, it was, some people would feel like it's like an advantage, you know. Yeah, he had a name Sauce, he'd be in New York, da-da-da. This is why, da-da-da. Then we get here, and it still goes on. So it's really just, you know, it happens. You know, I came in the league, and I was very successful, and I'm still being successful. And, you know, a lot of people might not like that.
So you mentioned the Sauce nickname. We got to ask, how did you get the nickname, and did you want that nickname? Did you like it when you first got it?
I got the nickname when I was 6, playing Little League football. And it was A1 Sauce, Sweet Feet Gardner.
Okay.
My coaches called me that whole name. They used to just call me Sauce Man, and then it was just Sauce. So it abbreviated over time. But yeah, that's how it happened. And, you know, still getting called it to this day. So,
well, last one with Sauce Gardner here. We appreciate his time live in Westfield. Part of me sounds like, when I say it in my head, I'm like, this is kind of a dumb question. You're a top 5 pick. You've been an All-Pro. Do you feel like there's any level of now you need to prove yourself in a Colts uniform? You've obviously proven yourself in the NFL, but do you feel like that is something that's on your mind at all?
Yeah, I mean, it's an extra. It's, you know, it's different. You know, on a new team. You know, new uniform, 2 first-round picks traded for me. Of course, it's like, you know, it's a certain standard that I already hold myself up to. So that's the thing. It's like that don't really change it and make it be like I need to do more because I'm already holding myself up to this high standard to where it's like that's what I'm working for anyway, you know, to just continue to just be the best teammate I could be, best player I could be, you know, and contribute in every way that I can on and off the field.
We already saw it day one of camp. The Colts have an elite outside cornerback pairing. The man who is talking with us right now is a big, big part of that. Sauce, thank you so much, man, for the time. Stay healthy. Hope Indy treats you well and appreciate the time.
For sure. Thank you.
Sauce Gardner right there yesterday after practice. Oh, my God. I mean, we covered. Let's not forget how he started the interview. That was a 10 of 10 he gave me on the bucket hat. 10 of 10 from Sauce Gardner on the bucket hat. He broke down Harry and Izzy's. Is there anything better than the skillet cookie? I thought the breakdown of Harry and Izzy's was wonderful analysis. You think he's still mad about Drake London's two-point conversion, Trendon?
Yeah, I still think that that is on his mind. The fact that he brought that up right away was
I have totally forgotten about
hilarious.
that play.
Yeah.
I've totally forgotten about that play. Doesn't have time for golf in the offseason. Just quiet confidence from him.
Yeah, he wasn't really feeling the whole, I'm not who I used to be type of thing, and rightfully so. I do think he acknowledged a lot of the pressures that come with being here now and the situation he's in with the Colts, Kevin. When you asked him the question to end the interview, they give up 2 first-round picks for you.
Yeah.
You're supposed to be a part of.
I like him acknowledging that.
Yeah, and I think that's a real thing that some players might deflect from, do the whole no pressure, it's the same thing, football's football. No, football's a little bit different when you're in that sort of spotlight and when you put yourself in that tier, in that caliber of player. And it's kind of like a catch-22, Kevin, because we're only asking you to be this great because we've seen you be this great for a number of years.
If you missed any of that, that'll be up on the podcast, and I believe we've got some big names again planned for you early next week. So we'll certainly alert you of that when we can. Speaking of golf, look at this picture Chris just sent us here, James. Good morning from Crestview and Muncie. I'm 2 holes in and have you guys on the Bushnell Golf Bluetooth speaker. Not sure which view is better, mine or yours. Always appreciative of you guys. Chris, the feeling is mutual, brother. How about that? He's got a pretty good view right there. I like that. I hope Chris hit it over the water there. This view is pretty good, too.
Yes, I will take it.
Day 3 of Colts camp.
They cleared the dew off the grass earlier.
The dew is off the grass. Colt City coming to life. Hour and 15 on the practice agenda for today. We've got a lot to get to recap from yesterday, make more of a notable wide receiver move around the league. Hell, the Colts worked out a notable wide receiver. More on all of that. Greg Rakestraw on the 9 o'clock hour. Mark, let's go ahead and check it down.
The Morning Checkdown. Brought to you by Suave Men Refreshing Face and Body Wash on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
All right, so let's get to the schedule here from Colts training camp. 10 a.m., again, start time today till 11:15. That will be the final morning practice here of these first 3 days. They'll go tomorrow, tentatively, weather permitting, 4 o'clock. Again, if they have to move that indoors, unfortunately, it eliminates a whole lot from an attendance standpoint. So keep an eye out for the weather tomorrow. Nothing on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, morning practices, and then Thursday, a night practice. So a week from now, we'll be recapping a late one at Grand Park coming up next Thursday. James the Fever back in action tonight. It'll be a late one tonight if people want to stay up. It is the Portland Fire, a very balanced team, a team that has struggled here as of late. And I would say very good news in the injury report. Aaliyah Boston listed as probable. So when she went down the other night, I don't know. I was kind of fearing the worst there. Yes, she didn't return to the game, but the fact that she's listed as probable, I think is a great, great sign.
Yes, I would definitely take that. That is a 10 p.m. Eastern time tip. It's going to be a late one, but for those who are like me, who don't have to get up as early tomorrow for radio and other job responsibilities, I'll be staying up to watch it.
Again, Sunday, I think it's an afternoon game in Minnesota, if I'm not mistaken. It is a very quality opponent.
Yes,
First time they've
1 p.m.
Okay, 1 p.m. Sunday. And I want to say that's the first of 3 matchups left with the Lynx. One thing to note, though, I want to say the other 2 are the final 2 games of the season. Well, you could get into some rest situations potentially there. So Sunday, definitely circle that one. The Fever and the best team in the league, the Minnesota Lynx. Yesterday up in Chicago, Curt Cignetti. Can I share you a texter about Curt Cignetti? This is from Noah on the text line. I mentioned earlier that I want a Curt Cignetti rap album for Christmas. That's what I need. I need that in my stocking. This from Noah. There's vomit on a sweater already. It's Kurt Signetti.
Oh, my gosh.
How about that?
How about we not?
What?
Yeah.
I think that sounds great.
That got a chuckle out of Cam Blankenship here.
Cam liked it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
There's vomit on a sweater
he's shaking the
already.
hair.
Kurt Signetti,
Ooh, God.
Mom Spaghetti. If I had any flow, I'd keep it going.
Oh, Lord.
Please stop.
My ears are bleeding.
Mark, you got to be all in on the Kurt Signetti rap album. Am I the only one? The man's got bars.
Yeah, leave it to him to make the bars.
Yeah,
I mean,
Kevin
you trying to ghostwrite for
freestyling
him
is not
pretty
what I
bad.
had.
You
on
guys
my
are hating
bingo
on Noah
card.
here. That was Noah on the text line.
I think the last few parts were thrown in by you.
Man, Noah, I think that was excellent work
Noah.
by you on the text line here. No hatred from me. Kurt Signetti in certainly midseason form. We'll continue to play some audio from him yesterday. He says he's stalking complacency.
You've really clung to this. We need a T-shirt that has this on there for you.
So what do you think that means? A slouch in the chair and he's just set up.
Yeah.
How do you stalk complacency?
I'm not sure, but I feel like that's always – you always have these coaches that have these phrases and buzzwords that they use that would sound insane in real life, but I can't really criticize them because it's worked. The man wins.
Kurt Signetti press conference slightly different than a Shane Steichen press conference, to say the least. Major League
That is very true.
Major League Baseball yesterday, a bunch of low-scoring, close games. Mark, your Cubs took, 3 of 4 from the Cardinals?
3 of 4 from the lowly Redbirds. Start the sell.
Who do you want?
St.
Trade
Louis.
deadline, Mark.
Well, Tarek Skubal obviously would be pie in the sky. We'll see if that happens. But we could use another starting pitcher and then a couple relievers, I would say.
Mason Miller.
Sure. I'll take Mason Miller. Obviously, he's
Are
going
you
to
guys
command
trading?
a huge amount.
Are you trading Suzuki? I thought I saw his name rumored.
I think there's a rumor with him in Seattle, so I guess we'll see. But I think he's a free agent at the end of the year, so not out of the question. But he is a pretty volatile bat for the Cubs offense, so we'll have to see.
White Sox 2-1 over the Yankees, getting kind of a quiet day in Major League Baseball. Boy, these bomb pops, I swear everyone was eating one of those yesterday. Did you see these bomb pops?
Yes, they were giving them out. People were coming in for training camp, and that, I must say, is pretty sweet, pun intended. I did see probably a 4-year-old kid. He had the hat on backwards, the shades, and the bomb pop. And I was walking by, and I assumed that was his mom, and she was telling him to come on, and I told her, hey, he's living the life.
Oh, preach. Speaking of living the life, how about the pinstripes back for the Indiana Pacers? Announced yesterday by them. These date back to 1997. A little bit of a modern flair to them, but I think honestly in today's day and age, I don't know if we can agree on anything. Hell, we couldn't agree on fast food restaurants earlier in the week. I think everyone can agree that the pinstripe Pacer uniforms are excellent, and that was great news to see yesterday. Not unsure how many games they will rock them for, but Tyrese Halliburton gave a stamp of approval. Shout out to the OGs, he said on Twitter. Let's rock.
Let's rock. I also have this from the text line. Thank you, James, for speaking up. KB got to chill. He's making us 36-year-olds sound lame.
That guy can kiss my ass.
I'm just saying, man. Every now and then you got to chime in and listen to your people.
You got Mark snorting back in studio like a freaking pig at the zoo. Unbelievable.
That made my day right now. Calling Kevin
Boy,
lame.
that's a pathetic.
All I did was read.
A pathetic bar that Mark's got here. I'm just trying to implore some Kurt Signetti bars, and you guys are hating on it here on this Friday. Marion County tournament having to shift locations with Southport under renovation.
This is
Speedway.
a sin, by the way, but continue.
Well, I think it's out of Southport's control, right?
A little bit, perhaps, but nevertheless, make sure this thing doesn't stay away now. It's got to come back. When things change, I'm always a little skeptical.
Now, you said you've been to Speedway?
I have been to Speedway.
I've never been inside the gym. Is the gym big? I mean, it's got to be somewhat big, right?
Yeah, it's a decent size. I'm not sure obviously it's not Southport size, I don't think, but I'm looking forward to heading over there next year to catch some Marion County hoops.
So we await any word on playoff games, tournament games, where those locations will be. But yeah, Marion County coming up in January, Speedway. The next year it'll be Lawrence North. Greg Rakeshaw going to join us 9 o'clock hour. We can chat with him about that. We mentioned weather permitting earlier. Actually, some car activity over at IMS, but I say car in the singular version. They will be testing out the new 2028 Indy car and the look of that. Coming up, road course configuration. This is Saturday and Sunday. Doug Bowles was mentioning yesterday that the Turn 2 mounds will be open. Now, again, this is for the road course. I think the oval testing will take place at some point here in September, but a little IMS activity, if you would like, coming up this weekend, and we'll see if Mother Nature can cooperate. Speaking of that, Mark Dykton, what do we got? What are we looking forward to? Today looks glorious. I know tomorrow a bit iffy.
We're going to have increasing cloud cover today. It will become warmer and more humid with a high near 88 degrees this afternoon. Spotty showers are back into the mix this evening with lows near 70 degrees. I'm Fox 59 meteorologist Amber Hardwick for The Fan.
This is the Fan Morning Show with Kevin Bowen and James Boyd.
Good Friday morning. Thank you for closing the week out with us. This is the Fan Morning Show. I'm Kevin Bowen, James Boyd alongside. Again, big thanks to on-site engineer Cam for getting us set up and handling Jake's show and our post-practice interviews. Mark Dykton back in studio. It'll be day 3 of Colts camp coming up later today. Again, it's an hour and 15-minute practice. If you want to nerd out for a second, we've yet to see a kicking competition yet, right?
That is true, and I know that's one of your favorites.
Oh, I think kickers matter in the NFL a whole lot. Hell, I think Michael Badgley cost the Colts potentially a game, if not 2, last season. So we'll see when Blake Grupe and Spencer Schrader get things underway. Again, DeForest Buckner yet to migrate into starting reps. To C.J. Allen get on the field before the first off day coming up on Sunday. Those are some things I'll be watching for today. James, what'd you make of yesterday? Any grand takeaways for you from the Colts on the practice field day 2?
Not a whole lot, but I will say that it's interesting to see Hunter Wohler continue to get first-team reps at that strong safety spot opposite of Cam Bynum. Of course, Hunter Wohler was the 7th-round pick last year who missed all of his rookie season due to a Liz Frank injury, but seems to be coming along nicely and seems to have earned the trust of defensive coordinator Lou Anarumo. And then in addition to him, rookie 4th-round pick Bryce Betcher out of Oregon continues to get first-team reps at one of those linebacker spots due to, I think in large part, C.J. Allen being out right now with the calf injury. So those two have kind of stood out to me.
Yeah, I always say this about day 2, 3, 4 into any sort of training camp. That's when you notice if position battles are real. Again, Hunter Wohler has taken the first-team reps the first 2 days. Lou Anarumo's words downplayed it a little bit, but at some point we do got to see A.J. Halsey, or else it's going to be Hunter Wohler. So, again, today, tomorrow, early next week, full pads, I think, scheduled to come on Monday. Particularly in the trenches, Jalen Farmer, the rookie out of Kentucky, is that going to be a competition or not? I don't think it will be, but again, we'll kind of await word on that. I think this is the dude. Are you the one that's throwing the great balls there over on the practice field? Yeah. He's got great rollout ability. If Daniel, one of the Colts workers here, has got unbelievable rollout ability, hitting Jack Doyle and Reggie Wayne and their big fat heads over there on the Colts City. If Daniel Jones can roll out like that, man, the Colts are going to have something. He's quite impressive, and I love his reactions too.
Yeah, he's an athlete.
Yeah, athlete to say the least. Daniel Jones, super sharp. I thought yesterday, James, until the pick, and again, I there's part of me that's like, all right, we don't need to get in the weeds about this, but I know full well it's something that Shane Steichen, Jim Bob Cooter, their staff pays attention to. And I think when you come out here and you watch Colts practice, you watch Daniel Jones throw the football, and then you watch the other quarterbacks, Riley Leonard and especially Anthony Richardson, throw it, the stress level that the pass catchers have to go through to catch a ball from Leonard and especially Richardson is much higher than it is when Daniel Jones is throwing it. When Daniel Jones is throwing the football, for the most part, we're talking great ball placement, in stride, the opportunity for yards after catch, all of those things. But when the other quarterbacks, in particular Richardson, are throwing it, the passes might be completed, but like Deion Burks is catching one behind his body and he falls down. Well, that could be a difference between converting 3rd and 6 with a few yards after catch and not. It's just completion percentage. I know that it might look similar when you read some of our stories, but you get into kind of the nitty-gritty that I know the coaching staff looks at. There's certainly a difference in these quarterbacks.
Absolutely. And honestly, watching the backups, Kevin, I just don't feel a whole lot of security and what to expect from them just because of the instability we've seen kind of behind Daniel Jones. And I think I might have walked up to you throughout that first day especially. I was like, man, if 17 goes down, just quote me as Tom Moore. They're bleeped. So we'll see if that, kind of changes throughout the training camp. But for the most part, Kevin, I think it's Daniel Jones or bust. Which, am I breaking any news there?
What'd you make of Deebo Samuel to the 49ers? Is there any trickle-down effect? Does that increase the Colts' urgency at all? That takes one notable veteran wide receiver off the market Do you think the Colts will view that in any way, shape, or form as, hey, we need to act?
No, not necessarily. There's probably some relationship there with him going back, quote-unquote, home. But to me, Kevin, I don't think that he was someone that they were seriously considering anyway. Now, I guess the question is, should they be? Do you think he should have been part of the list of wide receivers that the Colts seriously consider? Or do you feel like, okay, you didn't miss out on anything? Because I don't sit here today and think, oh, my God, they missed out on Deebo Samuel.
Are you just kind of in the Keenan Allen or bust camp?
Not necessarily. I guess Stephon Diggs is still out there as well. Like, is he somebody? And it comes with a lot of baggage.
I was going to say, there's a lot there.
But at the same time, we were sitting up here yesterday, and I was asking Chris Ballard directly to his face 2 days ago, or 3 days ago, about the possibility of the team signing Terrion Arnold, who currently has 8 felony charges against him, the former Detroit Lions cornerback. So I do think if they're going to vet all players like Chris Ballard says, then look at Stephon Diggs as well.
One thing I was kind of reminded of yesterday watching this team go through practice, and you look at the wide receiver position currently without Alec Pierce. Again, probably a week or two is the thought there with Pierce. You watch the first team wideouts get run, and it did hit me yesterday like, oh, yeah, A.D. Mitchell is gone too.
Yeah.
And, I know some might kind of laugh at that thought, but, A.D. Mitchell right now would easily be this team's number 2 wideout. Easily be this team's number 2 wideout. And when you look at the wideouts currently behind Josh Downs is the top wideout. The ages of those wideouts, 31 years old, 29 years old, 29 years old. That's old for that position.
Yeah.
Now, you could look at that one of two ways. You could say old, reliable, consistent, other stereotypes you want to throw out there.
Yeah, for sure.
Or you could look at it and say, what you're trying to do with these guys is you're trying to ascend them up the depth chart. You're trying to say, here's more responsibility. But are they just what they are at this point of their careers? Yeah. Like if that was A.D. Mitchell, for example, still young, still growing. Yeah. When you drafted Mitchell, you knew full well, we're going to have to mold some clay here.
Yeah.
This is not, I remember I made the worst salt and pepper shakers back in Clay Junior High with Sibby Hill and fired it in the kiln, and they came out, and I'm like, those things look horrific. There was no clay to mold. These dudes are my salt and pepper shakers. They're not the moldable clay.
I'm laughing because, hold on, can we
You should see these salt and pepper shakers.
I know we got to get to a break, but just one question here. Why salt and pepper shakers? Did you have other options?
I kind of forget. I don't know. I thought, let's make mom happy, Mother's Day present. I don't know.
Mama was looking at that like, I love it.
They're horrible. I didn't make like a proper top. It was more of a pour top, not like a shake top.
Yeah, you definitely didn't do what you were supposed to do.
Just horrible. I came out. I was like, yeah, give me the C- and let me move on. But does that make sense at all, James? They are older at wideout, which again you can look at that and say, well, they're trustworthy. They make you sleep well at night. But Joel A. Erickson said it really well to us. I thought in the 9 o'clock hour yesterday. Are they a bunch of number 4s?
Yeah.
When you're asking them to be 2s and 3s.
Yeah.
And you have to have the pristine health from Pierce and Downs. We're not even talking about that element of it. You have to have.
Yeah, they really don't have much depth
you
there
cannot
at all.
afford. I mean, if we did the indispensable Colt things, I probably had Pierce and Downs too low. Honestly,
Ooh, okay.
When I look back on it.
Okay. Well, I don't necessarily disagree with you there, Kevin, but I think that's why, again, I've been hammering they just add a proven veteran receiver. They're older as well, but a guy like Keenan Allen, a guy like Stephon Diggs, they can roll out of bed and get you, 600 yards and a couple touchdowns? That's not for nothing.
Brandon wanted to ask about Chase Claypool, a bigger body like Michael Pittman Jr. What will you update fans out there what happened yesterday? Liam Clifford to the Colts?
Yes. So the Colts had 2 wide receivers try out for the team. Liam Clifford, the undrafted rookie out of Penn State, seems to have more of a special teams background than anything. But the biggest name, obviously, is Chase Claypool. He's someone who's shown some flashes, former second-round pick out of Notre Dame, if I'm not mistaken, Kevin. So has some ties to the state, but hasn't played since 2023 with Miami. So that's a long time to be out of the NFL. I don't mind the Colts taking a peek at him, but when I think of difference makers, he's not the one that I had in mind at all, just because he hasn't been on an NFL field in an NFL game in quite some time.
Yeah, again, cup of coffee with Buffalo 2 years ago, but as James said, hasn't played in a game since 23. Liam Clifford was a rookie camp tryout guy with the Colts, but to me, he's just a camp body. So we'll see. Sometimes the veteran moves in training camp can start to domino some things, but, Deebo Samuel certainly has history with San Francisco, but we'll see what the urgency looks like around the league with that. And San Francisco's depth chart, per usual, they have some injuries here early on. All right, we'll continue the Colts conversation coming up on the other side, live here from training camp, and we've got some more Curt Cignetti audio to play. The man was dropping bars in Chicago. We'll play some Sig audio coming up next. Live here, Westfield, Indiana, Colts training camp day 3, Fan Morning Show. Avon, Rockville Road. That's the place to be when it's car shopping season. The Andy Moore Group campus out there in Avon. 4 different brands: Kia, Volkswagen, Toyota, and Nissan. Honestly, one of the best Nissan stores in the entire Midwest. The top store in Indiana. Alvin is the GM over there. Good dude. Chatted with him a few weeks ago. Make sure if you head out there, you say hello to him and tell him Kevin Bowen sent you. Really strong inventory through the roof. Rogues, Sentras. I am a Rogue driver myself. So that's part of what's so great about the Andy Moore Group campus in Avon. Yes, you have a great Nissan store. You also have a Toyota store. You also have a Kia store. You also have a Volkswagen store. One-stop shop, 4 different brands. Wonderful opportunity to compare, contrast, and get a great bang for your buck out there. So, again, it's the Andy Moore Group campus in Avon. Tell them Kevin Bowen sent you.
This is the Fan Morning Show with Kevin Bowen and James Boyd.
Welcome back to Drop Light Grand Park campus. We're about 13 minutes away from the fans being allowed to come in to Colts City to have a little fun here as we get day 3 of Colts training camp. Kevin's knocking over chairs, leaving me hanging on the return from breaks, but he's here. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm good. Casey Valier, thank you for the water there. Yeah, I was just putting some sunscreen on. Boy, those bathrooms are nice up there.
They are. Those are not regular porta potties. Those are pretty pristine. Almost like a little house.
Yeah, those are legit. Yeah. Those are legit. Are you a fan of the you go air dryer or are you more of a paper towel guy?
I'm more of a paper towel guy, but I will say I definitely make sure that the paper towels end up in the trash can.
Well, thank you for that. That's
I know people can be a little, but a lot of schools, I've been in a lot of places as far as catching high school basketball games. A lot of these schools now will not have paper towels because people don't throw them in the trash can.
Can we flush the toilets after you're done, by the way? That's my public service announcement. Let's flush the toilets when we're done. There's plenty of times I'm like, there's too much yellow in this. There's someone just push the flush button, for God's sake. Sometimes
Mark,
yellow, sometimes other colors.
Mark, you were fired up about something from a parental standpoint a few weeks ago. What was that?
Oh, boy. What day was it? Because it could be anything these days. I think it was just the parents that just leave the kids on the playground and aren't paying attention, and the kid's like dangling from something that he shouldn't be on because it's weight-bearing and stuff. And then you have other parents telling the kid not to do it, and then the parent finally looks up and says, Rodney, don't do that, or something. It's like, what are we doing? Stop doing Wordle for 5 seconds and watch your kid.
Dude, I had one of those. I volunteered for a field trip back in the fall, and, I'm in charge of 5 kids in the group. And I had one that was just, on top of this, playground set. I mean, if he falls, he's breaking his arm for sure. And I'm just kind of letting him do his thing, and I've got this mom just running over, being like, you got to get down from there! And she's just staring at me like none. I'm like, come on, can't we? There's got to be an element where we let kids be kids, right?
Yeah, they can be fine, but if you're jumping on like there's splash pads around, if you're jumping on stuff that is clearly weight bearing and not going to hold your weight even at 50 pounds, what are we doing? I don't want kids, your feet are where my kids' heads are going. No, thank you.
10 to 11:15. That is day 3 of Colts practice here. A little bit longer today. They're scheduled to go 90 minutes tomorrow. I say scheduled because I know the weather looks a hair dicey in central Indiana coming up for Saturday. Boy, I'll tell you what, James, you hear Lou Anarumo, the defensive coordinator, talk. Man, does he love himself some Justin Wally.
Yes. And, again, this is the Justin Wally who's coming off a torn ACL who didn't play a single snap last year. And from our understanding of Lou Anarumo, Kevin, he's someone who doesn't always gravitate towards the young guys. But apparently Wally has broken the mold a bit. He was a lot more bullish on Wally when asking about his role in the defense than he was when identifying, hey, Hunter Wohl's been out there a lot too.
I don't want to put words in Lou's mouth, but he almost groups Wally in with Sauce Gardner and Travarius Ward.
He did. I went back and listened to the audio. He did, and then Travarius Ward also grouped Wally in with him and Sauce Gardner.
Boy, that is high praise. Good news here on the Colts front. They just announced they have removed C.J. Allen from the physically unable to perform list. So here in about, hour and 10 minutes, you could be seeing C.J. Allen practice for the first time. So very good news on that front, James.
Yes, they did say it was going to be a short-term sort of injury. That was the word from Chris Ballard on Tuesday, and it looks like it's holding true. Now I'm curious to see, okay, how much do you actually do on your first day of training camp practice, not only this year, but in your career?
Yeah, so again, 2 practices will be what C.J. Allen has missed, assuming he is able to give it a go here coming up today. So that's big for the Colts. They've rotated a lot at linebacker here early on. We've seen the day 1, it was Bryce Betcher, Akeem Davis-Gaither. Was Davis Gaither practicing yesterday? He might have been out
I
yesterday.
did not see him yesterday, so we'll have to follow up on that today, especially if he misses a second day in a row.
Yeah, and without him, Austin Ajike, number 58, he had the play of the day. He's the one that picked off Daniel Jones, returned it all the way for a touchdown there, and he got a lot of first-team run. Again, was with the team last year. Probably really one of the few holdovers at linebacker, but really good news for C.J. Allen that in the grand scheme of it, assuming he can stay healthy the rest of the way, he'll miss 2 of 13 camp practices. So good news on that front. Again, just to remind everybody, Alec Pierce now the lone individual on the PUP list. The original thought there was a week to 2. The week mark would be coming up Tuesday. So that would be 6 practices into things. And again, the Colts have had a variety of guys that have done the communication here over the first 2 days. They've rotated. Linebackers probably where they're rotating the most right now. So number 53. He looks different than Darius Leonard, 53. C.J. Allen, a little bit shorter, doesn't have those crazy wingspan, the tall. Darius Leonard at times looked like he belonged in the wide receiver position group.
Yeah,
C.J. Allen looks like a linebacker.
Player. Yeah, and from what we've heard, he is like, to make, a good comparison to Shaq Leonard, all ball. So we'll see what he's doing today, whether he's flying around or not. But he comes in with quite the resume from Georgia. It's not many true freshmen that can start down there for that program. And he did it, and I think that's helped him get to where he is now.
So that new item from the Colts, again, C.J. Allen off of the physically unable to perform list here.
That list sounds so bad when we say it all the way out. I'm like, man.
Yeah.
Like, is the guy, are his legs attached to his body?
Yeah, I know. Boy, I've had some moments in my life where I'm physically unable to perform.
I ain't had that problem. It might be a few more years till I get there.
Oh, boy, as we transition from that here. Gates starting to get a bit crowded here as some kids descend upon Grand Park, and I make a very awkward transition from there. Colt City opening up 10 a.m. to 11:15, practice number 3 for the Colts. Again, full pads coming up on Monday. We have yet to really see, I think, a lot of notable things from a in the trenches standpoint. I think that'll be a thing coming up a little bit more next week from the Colts, and we will see if we do get any more traction from a roster move standpoint. Again, yesterday, Liam Clifford, the undrafted free agent. I forget, do your PUP guys, do they count against the active roster?
I have to go look this up.
I kind of forgot if part of me thinks that they do count against the active roster here, but like yesterday they made a roster move without a corresponding roster move, right? They just signed Liam Clifford. They didn't cut anybody. But now that I think about it, I think they cut like a running back, like early in the week. Lincoln Pear, maybe.
Yeah, there was the injury designation. They waived him.
Yeah, we're really getting in the weeds here from an injury standpoint. 9 o'clock hour upcoming here. Greg Rakestraw scheduled to join us in person. We usually do Fridays at 8 with Ray. Thank you to Sauce Gardner. Mark will have that up on the podcast. So very much enjoyed that conversation with a quiet yet very confident Colts cornerback on a variety of topics there, so we can hit on that, and we still got some Kurt Signetti audio we've got to get to there. 9 o'clock hour, upcoming live, Westfield, Indiana, the Droplight Grand Park campus. This is the Fan Morning Show.
This is the Fan Morning Show with Kevin Bowen and James Boyd.
Oh, final hour of the week. Gates now are open here at Grand Park. Fans starting to walk towards the practice fields. Colt City alive and well. Shout out, that was Colin that's been whipping that football around, James Boyd. He sets up the events here for the Colts. It's a very thankless job, so thank you to Colin and his staff for doing that. And it should be another nice morning here. Hour and 15-minute practice. The news of the day just a few minutes ago. Could be seeing the practice debut in training camp of one C.J. Allen.
Yes, but he's no Colin. Shout out to Colin. I've known him for a couple years now and have watched a Thursday night game or two with him, and he is someone who brings good energy, and we're hoping the same for C.J. Allen, who is all ball, as they say.
Never forget the first practice. Allen rocking number 53. I'll never forget the first practice at number 53. One Darius Leonard wore right here. He picked off Andrew Luck probably 30 yards from where we are sitting right now. A ball that Luck thought was going to find the arms of Eric Swope, and Darius flashed that very, very potent wingspan of his for the interception. It was a sign of things to come. So obviously, expectations for a second-round linebacker are high, and we'll see if C.J. Allen can deliver on those. So the stay on the PUP list was expected to be short for Allen. Indeed, it was. 2 missed practices, and now he is off that PUP list. I do want to get – I know Greg Rakestraw is going to join us here in a little bit. I do want to go back to some Kurt Signetti audio. Mark, do you have this clip? I believe this was with Andrew Chernoff from Wish TV. A very short clip from Kurt Signetti, but I was kind of curious, James, how he would spin like the – it's hard to play the underdog mentality anymore for Indiana. You just won the national title, and your bank account would say you're not very much an underdog. So in Kurt Signetti fashion, this was him with Andrew Chernoff yesterday up at Big Ten Media Days, describing the mentality for Indiana this season.
Target is on your back now. What's been the message to these guys on the roster?
Target is on our back, but we bought a bigger gun.
Short, sweet. Mark, one more time.
Target is on your back now. What's been the message to these guys on the roster?
Target is on our back, but we bought a bigger gun.
It's almost like they planned that. Like, I mean, his follow-up is just – and I hate to get into the technicality there. Did he say bought or brought? Because bought would probably apply, right, in today's college football?
Oh, absolutely. He won't shy away from that fact. He spent some money to make sure, Hoover comes over to the Hoosiers.
Nick Marsh isn't making, what James Boyd is making as an RA
not at all.
At Illinois there. So
a little more than free room and board. The occasional sandwich.
Target is on your back, but we bought a bigger gun. Unbelievable.
He's got all the one-liners.
All of them. And again, off the top of his head like that.
Yeah. He's a witty guy.
He's a comedy addict down in Bloomington or something. And Kurt Signetti for open mic night there.
Does he have his own burger yet? There has to be a Signetti burger, right?
Boy, there's got to be something, right?
That Dan's.
I mean, that man, he has turned down so many lucrative speaking engagements. I mean, he is just all ball. I think he threw out the percentage of when he's in his office, he said 95% of the time he's watching film. You imagine the disgust when he has to deal with something that comes across his desk that's
hey, this new uniform.
Yeah, exactly.
How about your thoughts on that?
Hey, this bus company is trying to pitch us to use their buses at road games. What do you think?
Yeah, he's probably is it going to allow me to go get this safety that we need in the portal?
So true. Big Ten Media Days wrapping up there in Chicago. And now we're about a month away from the season starting here for their respective teams. Hoping to get, I know Signetti's not one that's going to be making the media rounds by any means with us. Hoping to get Barry Odom on at some point here as we get ready for Purdue's start to the season. They're non-conference. They still got Wake Forest and Notre Dame. So they're non-conference, not going to allow for a whole lot of put in the W column here this season in year 2 for one Barry Odom. We are live here, Westfield, Indiana. Fans starting to trickle in. How about the dude in the Quentin Nelson jersey pointing to his phone saying that he was listening?
Appreciate that.
I love it. You think that's the jersey that we see the most? More Nelsons or more Taylors?
Probably more Taylors. I still think that running back is the more sexy position. And when you're growing up, you want to be the running back. You don't want to necessarily be the left guard. But Quentin Nelson, boy, I can bet your kids dream of being a Hall of Famer. And he will be someday.
Was Nelson's jersey ripped yesterday, or is that an optical illusion I had?
I didn't notice it.
Did you happen to see that?
No, I did not notice that.
So one play, he's kind of Bryce. He's got Bryce Betcher engaged in a block. Okay, and again, we're still yet to full pads. And is there a phrase you hear more than being out here at Colts practice than "keep him up, keep him up"? You know,
stay up.
Yep,
and
stay up.
You
stay
usually
up.
hear that after somebody's already down.
Right,
which is funny,
right. Get up off the ground. So Bryce Betcher is kind of falling to the ground, and Nelson, you can tell Nelson is trying to keep him up, but his momentum is not allowing him to keep Betcher up. So Betcher falls to the ground. Nelson falls to the ground. And anytime, Tyler Warren fell to the ground the other day. Anytime, one of the prominent players falls to the ground there. How about that Riley Leonard Notre Dame jersey?
That's pretty sweet.
That's a national championship jersey because he's got the name on the back of that jersey there. Nelson pops up off the ground. And I'm thinking to myself, oh, boy, is he going to be laboring at all? That's kind of my thought. Is he going back to the huddle? Is he laboring? What does Nelson do? Continues to sprint down the field to high-five DJ Giddens. I'm like, dude, just take one play off. Just relax you have earned the right to relax for one play.
That's why he's as great as he is. He just doesn't take the foot off the gas. And we've talked with him about this. He doesn't really give us much color, but – he is usually the first offensive lineman to go congratulate a player on a big play. If it's down the field, if it's a run, especially if it's a touchdown, he's not walking back to the sideline. He's running down the field to be part of the convoy. So I respect it.
Do you think better chance he gets an extension or Taylor gets an extension before the start of the season?
That's a really good question. I would say Quentin Nelson. Because he's GM-proof, scheme-proof. He's a great player. I just don't know what downside there is to rewarding a future Hall of Famer who's still very much in his prime.
I'm trying to remember. Nelson, I just gave the peace sign to this guy, and the wife looked at him like, do you know him? And he's like, no. I'm trying to do the Naptown nod.
Yeah, I think you're looking pretty cool. You're just being nice.
I'm trying to do the Midwest.
Cool, suave, nice.
Midwest hospitality here.
Just don't freestyle for anybody again.
Oh, yeah. You guys, respectfully, you guys can kiss my ass with that. I had some bars going there. Noah followed up and told me to keep going, so that's all I needed to hear. The Nelson first contract extension, I believe that occurred the night before the regular season started one year. Does that sound right? Hell, you might not even been on the beat when Nelson signed his first extension.
I was. Actually, that was something I remember very distinctly because we were in a restaurant in Houston the night before the season opener, the tie in 2022, when he got his deal.
So it's night before the season started, right?
Yep, night before the season started.
And again, very quiet. It's not like typical Nelson fashion.
4 years, $80 million.
So, yeah, I'll be curious to see if that happens, because my thought is with the cap space they're sitting on right now, if they wanted to, they could go sign a Keenan Allen, whatever, give him $5 million a year. What Debo get yesterday? $7 million?
Yes.
Okay, $7 million for
Keenan Allen.
For Keenan Allen, and then, thank you, Mark, and then hand the extensions to Taylor and Nelson and front load them. If they wanted to, they could do all of those things with their remaining cap space. Now, of course, the question becomes, will they do them? Again, wide receiver-wise, yesterday they signed a guy by the name of Liam Clifford. You've probably never heard of him. Tried out for the team, rookie undrafted free agent back during rookie minicamp. Penn State dude. I just think he's a camp body for them. But we'll see if the urgency of wide receiver happens to rise at all coming up as we inch closer towards training camp.
KB, I'm scouting.
What are you scouting?
Trying to see which kid I can beat in the 40.
Oh, jeez. Come on.
Your first 40 time doesn't seem like you can beat anybody.
Well, that is true. That's what I'm trying to see. I saw a kid in the boot walk by, and I was like, there's my competition.
James looking for the kids that have the bomb pops already here on this Friday morning.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Maybe that sugar is going to push them to the to the finish line. Greg Rakestraw scheduled to join us here live on site in a few, Westfield, Indiana, the Droplight Grand Park campus where we are. I believe Greg Rakestraw and Rick Venturi, all 3 preseason games on TV coming up this year. I want to confirm that with Rake when he joins us. Speaking of things to ask about Rake, if you want to localize a little story here early in camp, a guy that has taken, I would say, a decent amount of first-team reps at wide receiver, number 83 in your program, Eli Pancol out of Pendleton Heights.
Yes, he was a part of the wide receiver group that was a part of Phillip Rivers' workout last year before he joined the team officially.
Him and Coleman Owen catching balls from Phil Rivers?
So just imagine that. Hey, when you just come to the facility, we're trying out some quarterbacks, and you show up, and it's possibly a future Hall of Famer.
That is kind of wild to think about it like that. But, yeah, Pankel's gotten a lot of run here early on in camp. So that has been something from a local story. Obviously, you have the King Curry story, but from a preseason TV standpoint, I'm going to guess that Greg Ragshaw is going to drop. Eli Pancol, Duke, does that sound right for him? Collegiately?
I would have to look it up.
Duke. Now, again, as great as that story is from a local standpoint, the reality of it is it's probably more of a state of your wide receiver program right now, or your wide receiver position chart right now, and probably why the urgency needs to be there a little bit more. Anything you're curious for day 3? I know C.J. Allen being out there. I'm a little DeForest Buckner, 2 days of individual. Is he ready for a team drill or two? That's something that I'm going to keep an eye on, and I'm half serious, half kidding. Kicker. We haven't seen the kickers kick yet. It's day 3. You'd assume they kick every third day or so. So I assume today will be a field goal day.
Yeah, and we need it because that is one of the bigger competitions on the team. And I know we talked with Brian Mason about it, and he still sticks to the notion of, hey, whoever loses this kicking battle will probably have a job pretty quickly because the Colts have the luxury of having 2 kickers that played very well for them last year.
Deadline spur action. You hear that phrase quite often when it comes to pro sports or, frankly, probably business anywhere. We are at a deadline today in regards to Anthony Richardson's contract situation, James. I don't know how significant it'll be. It's probably more of a league-wide thing than most. But just to update everybody, he is due a roster bonus today of, I believe it's around $4.2 million. And so if you were another team trading for him prior to today, you likely would have given up some late day 3 draft pick, let's call it a 6th-rounder, and then you also would have absorbed paying him more than $5 million to whatever, see what he's got left or, get your hands on him from a coaching staff standpoint. After today, the late day 3 pick would still be there, but the financial element of it would be just north of $1 million. Again, that roster bonus, 4.2. So, yeah, the Colts right now, $4.2 million for Anthony Richardson in that roster bonus. So, we'll see. Is that a deadline spur action thing? I don't think it is, James, but I am curious if there are any teams around the league that might say, you know what? That's mostly just a vet minimum deal. Why not? We've got 8 day 3 draft picks. Why not do that?
Exactly, but this is where I think, and we alluded to it earlier and throughout the show, Kevin, the Colts should probably just say no. I get that things might not be the smoothest right now with Anthony Richardson and the Colts, and I don't want to make it seem like it's contentious. It doesn't seem like that at all either. But whether he wants to leave or not, I don't think that it's necessarily, in my opinion, worth it to say, hey, we'll give up a 7th-round pick for somebody who could still help our team given our quarterback situation and, unfortunately, how unhealthy some of them have been throughout their careers.
Just say no. Was that part of the DARE acronym?
I think so.
DARE acronym there? I'm trying to think. The only thing that I'm trying to think of the other IHSAA. Just say no to tobacco. The only thing I light up is a scoreboard. The only thing I smoke is my opponents.
Was that part of the initiative?
Yeah, I feel like you had these high school athletes, and the IHSAA would partner with them, and these say no to tobacco. I'm trying to think of the other ones. I kind of like.
I remember Smokey the Bear.
Oh, sure, Smokey the Bear is a legend. But I kind of like the only thing I light up is a scoreboard. You got the kid in the high school gym pointing up to a scoreboard up there.
Now I see all these vape things at schools, and they're like, what is it? Don't puff that stuff.
Is that to say?
That's what they say.
Where's Puff the Magic Dragon?
There you go.
When you need it.
The only
We'll
thing
see
I'm
how much
cooking is my opponents these days.
Yeah. It's not bad. It's not bad.
I was like, I don't know. Mark took it a step further. Cooking is a little different than smoking, so he might have a little more going on at the Dykton household.
I was gonna say Mark's trying to make some money there if he's cooking. But
the old Walter White.
Then again, you're the one with the 30-pound picture of weed.
Yeah, that's true. But you will never see it because I have graduated to maybe being a little more mature in my life.
Should I ask Brian Mason, special teams coordinator, as he's running around the practice field, if the kickers are going to kick today?
I think you could, but he's kind of locked in right now. So I feel like he'd probably give you like a Rocky jab if you go out there and interrupt.
He is locked in right now.
Yeah.
He's getting a nice morning sweat in before practice starts here.
He's a man of routine.
Greg Rakestraw scheduled to join us, 9 o'clock hour here. Gates open at Colts City. Practice 10 a.m. to 11:15 here from Grand Park. And we're getting things underway. Hey, Coach, are we going to kick field goals today? You got it, baby.
You got it, baby.
First period. Let's go. How about Brian Mason with that?
Didn't even break stride.
No, it didn't even break stride. Let's go. The Zionsville native Brian Mason. I remember the Notre Dame coaching staff they viewed him as a big loss. Big loss. He was with Marcus Freeman back to their Cincinnati days. So Blake Grupe and Spencer Schrader will be charting kicks today. I thought Daniel Jones, James, yesterday, really sharp. I know he had the interception. I mentioned in my post-practice video, I called it uncharacteristic. I understand Daniel Jones has some turnover history in his tenure, but for a Colts practice, that's the 20th Colts practice I've watched with Daniel Jones, the 30th. That, to me, was uncharacteristic from him. When he threw that ball yesterday, my first thought was, did I miss Riley Leonard or Anthony Richardson going into the huddle? And I say that in all seriousness. I'm sorry it sounds a little snarky, but that was my first thought. Because it was just so unlike Daniel Jones. And he was in a great rhythm. That was his first incompletion of the day yesterday.
Yeah, well, I didn't think that it was another quarterback because I was watching him. And honestly, Kevin, I thought that, I'm doing my job out here. You're just.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of bodies out there.
The one that matters the most is number 17. So you can best believe I know when he's out there. But the play itself, Kevin, was kind of weird because he would have got sacked for like a 5-yard loss in a real game. Latu, I don't know who missed an assignment or whiffed, or maybe he just got around the old lineman there, but he was in the backfield pretty quickly, and he eased up to even allow Daniel Jones to make that throw. So real game, he's throwing that in the dirt or he's getting pummeled. Yeah,
I was chatting with Joel Erickson. Him and I were next to each other when that play happened, and I thought Joel made a good point. Really there's been like 2 or 3, I would say, errant throws from Daniel Jones here in the first couple days of camp, and I'd say both times really it was just him trying to keep a play alive, which, part of that I think is kind of what you're looking to do. I think for the most part Daniel Jones is not one that is, trying to, keep plays alive. I think he knows kind of when to dirt things. So, again, practice getting underway 10 a.m. today. And Mark Dykton, as we hit a morning check down, we'll begin it with some good injury news for the Colts. Let's go ahead and check it down on this Friday morning.
The Morning Checkdown on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
We'll get to Greg Rakestraw here on the other side, but James, C.J. Allen off the physically unable to perform list. So if you are coming out to Colts practice here in Westfield, there's a good chance you're going to see number 53 make his training camp debut.
Yes, that is a good notion for the Colts, and we know C.J. Allen is somebody who has high stock in this defense and someone I would expect to be a day one starter.
So, again, 10 a.m. to 11:15. That is the practice schedule for today. We'll see weather permitting tomorrow. I know it looks a bit dicey, 4 o'clock, the practice start time. If they do have to go inside, that really limits the amount of fans that can attend those practices. So keep an eye out for that. It is a late one tonight out on the West Coast. James, what should Fever fans know about the Portland Fire?
Well, they just lost one of their top scorers, Sarah Ashley Barker, for the season due to an ACL injury, so that's not ideal, but they can still score some points. And as you know, the Fever defense can kind of fluctuate, but I think during this 4-game winning streak, it's been decent enough to let them allow their offense to carry them further. So we'll see if they can push it to 5 wins later tonight.
Very good news, I would say, in the injury report, the fact that Aaliyah Boston is listed as probable. So her absence, that looked a little rough when she fell to the ground the other night there in Seattle. So good news on that front that she is listed as probable. And again, a huge one Sunday. I'd say the 2 best
hottest teams in the league, Fever and Minnesota, from up there in Minneapolis. Let's actually bring in Greg Rakestraw for our next topic here on our morning check down. Rake, the Marion County Tournament moving to Speedway coming up in January and then to Lawrence North in 2028 with renovations down at Southport. I've never been inside the Sparkplug gym.
It is cool. It is old school. It is the Morris Pollard Gymnasium. And what is very unique about any athletic event at Speedway, the wing and wheel logo is incorporated. So they just had brand new turf. They're one of the last schools locally to get turf last year, and it's the Sparkplug S with the wing and wheel logo in the middle. The wing and wheel has already been on the gym floor forever. So a buddy of mine, Chuck Bennett, was the head coach there for many years. I would tend to do like one game a year there for a long time. So it is nice that frankly, that's going to be a showcase for them. For those that don't know, Speedway, yes, is part of the county tournament. So like Lutheran, Speedway, trying to think what else.
Park Tudor, those are like the smaller schools that are involved in the county tournament. So be a cool thing for them.
What is
real quick? Can you say that again?
Because I was off microphone.
Yeah, I was making sure. I'm like, I couldn't hear you in the headset.
You mean the voice of God wasn't going all across Central Indiana?
I just figured everyone in Hamilton County heard that.
All right, so Speedway is one of the smaller schools in terms of the county tournament. Speedway, Lutheran, Park Tudor are kind of the small guys that maybe aren't thought about in terms of the major county schools. Speedway's gym is really unique. All of their athletic things have the wing and wheel logo that is included on them. So, looking forward to going back there.
Attendance-wise for that gym?
Probably seats 3,500 to 4 would be my guess. And, frankly, after Southport, almost everybody else's gym in the county is in the 3,000, 3,500, 4,000 range.
So, again, that'll be January, LN in 2028.
Yep.
We'll chat with Rake more on the other side about potentially where maybe a tournament game.
You going to give me the Bob Level treatment? I got to hang through the break?
Yes. I have a feeling you're not going anywhere until 10 o'clock, so thank you for that. Pacers pinstripe unis coming back, 1997. These debuted, announced yesterday. We'll see how many games they will wear these, but the stamp of approval from one Tyrese Halliburton retweeting those yesterday. Shout out to the OGs. Let's rock, said Mr. Halliburton in regards to those unis. Mark Dykton, your favorite Kurt Signetti clip from Big Ten Media Day?
Oh, the SEC veiled shot. I love that one. The bigger gun thing was also very well done. So, yeah, those are my two favorites.
We don't whine and complain.
I'm gonna go with the Ashley Dykton favorite, and I think it's in reference to Mark Dykton and his vacations here. Kurt Signetti saying yesterday that he was on vacation long enough and he was tired of being bossed around by my wife. I'm ready to boss somebody else around. I like it. How about stalking complacency? Rake, you run a company. How do you stalk complacency?
By landing new clients on a regular basis. That's how.
Look at that.
By growing the
right?
bottom line 6 years running. That's how.
You hear that?
Talk, right?
Tax season comes around. We know where Rake's going to be.
Tax season's a bloodbath in the racetraw house.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah.
That man just run a 40-yard dash in a collar tucked-in shirt and cargos.
Did he run it faster than JB did?
He's dedicated.
Cam, what's that say? Does that say less than 5.4? I mean, hell, they're all running less than that.
I can make fun of JB for his golf swing. I can't make fun of him for his sprinting ability.
I keep saying, Rick, I'm the fastest mediator by default because he won't run it.
I think what has to happen now is that last day out here is what, August 20th? Does that sound right?
August 20th, yes.
I think there has going to have to be a media 40-yard dash.
Oh, see.
I mean, especially since, we are the home now of the Rich Eisen show.
Yeah.
And Run, Rich, Run. It's kind of become this thing
There
every
you
year
go.
at the Combine. We don't have to do it in wingtips or a suit. We can actually get some pre-stretching, and then the over-under can be how many people, pull, tear, sprain, rip something
Don't even say
while
it.
we're doing this.
Don't even say it. Literally.
Suddenly KB's mic
Yeah.
isn't working.
I know.
We're telling him to line it up.
I just felt my whole body just went limp when
My
when
40
Rake
would just
started.
say, finish. It'd be clocked on a sundial.
What else we got? Quiet day, Major League Baseball yesterday. Some low-scoring games. The Marks Cubs got it done over the Cardinals. Reds over the Pirates. Indianapolis Indians down in Louisville beating the Bats. And if weather permits this weekend, you'll kind of see a unique thing over at IMS. They'll be testing out their 2028 IndyCar on the road course. So the Turn 2 Mounds, the very popular Turn 2 Mounds, that will be open coming up Saturday and Sunday. Again, weather permitting on that. Doug Bowles mentioned yesterday the oval testing for this car will occur at some point in September.
Now, since you point out that it's a road course test, doesn't that mean it's more likely to happen? You're not going to send a car out there in a thunderstorm, obviously.
Right.
But in theory,
yeah, that's a good point.
Throw wet weather tires on there and actually go, okay, we'll have a chance to test the rain conditions for the road course car.
Yeah, no, that is a very, very good point on that front. That is, of course, the voice of Greg Rakestraw. We'll chat with him coming up on the other side. Hell, 2 weeks from this morning, Rake will have had probably a short night of sleep and coming back from Colts at Patriots preseason game number 1. We'll get things started. Day 3 here of Colts camp from Grand Park. It is an hour and 15 long practice. Mark Dyke, let's get a little weather update on this Friday morning.
We're going to have increasing cloud cover today. It will become warmer and more humid with a high near 88 degrees this afternoon. Spotty showers are back into the mix this evening with lows near 70 degrees. I'm Fox 59 meteorologist Amber Hardwick for The Fan.
Fan Morning Show with Kevin Bowen and James Boyd.
Well, Grand Park definitely coming to life. The Drop Light Grand Park campus up here in Westfield. Greg Rakestraw just gave us the rundown. You think biggest crowd of camp so far?
It is. So Mark texted me yesterday and said, hey, can you move to 9 o'clock and be here, in person? I said, sure, shouldn't be a problem. Kids and adults in the Rakestraw House were kind of slow dragging it this morning. So I got off at like 191st Street at, say, about 9:04, and Mark got a text, said, I'm parking, I'll get there. It took a few minutes to get into the parking lot.
Yeah.
And I am parked in a media area on like the grassy side because this place is full, and that is even with the Indy 11 are on the road tonight. They're playing in San Antonio, so none of the cars that are over here by where we normally park are Indy 11 cars. That's all like staff, people that are going to be here. So there is a significant line. If you look to your right where the security line is, or to my left, that's pretty backed up. So I think this will be a full house this morning.
Yeah, I would say just, based off kind of our eyeballs, definitely the most fans we've seen here at 9:31 of any of the 3 days so far. 10 a.m. to 11:15, the Colts will practice day 3 here of camp. Now, Rake, 2 weeks from today, you usually join us Friday morning.
Yep.
That will be a sleep-deprived Greg Rakestraw.
Not really.
You'll be
because I'm not on a charter flight back.
Oh, you are not?
Flying separate,
Okay.
yes.
Got it.
So in future bookings, Mark, 8 a.m. from Boston is just fine on Friday the 14th.
Okay.
So there is like a separate television crew flight. So I fly out on Tuesday and fly back on Friday.
And
so I have a 3-day bender in the Northeast.
You and Rick Venturi coming up, all 3 preseason broadcasts he was sharing with us?
That is correct. So Rick will be on all 3. That's the one flight that he'll be making. And then obviously we're home for Saturday games, the weekends after that.
I know this is kind of random, but we mentioned this locally. Obviously, Caden Curry will be a name that you'll mention and talk about a whole lot on the preseason broadcast. You're going to talk about Pendleton Heights' Eli Pancol, I would argue, a little bit earlier in that first preseason game than maybe I would have thought of. He's gotten some first-team run here without Alec Pierce. I don't remember much about him at Pendleton Heights, and again, probably has to do with a little bit more of my high school viewing is a little bit more local,
right?
And not up to Pendleton Heights. I know he was a hell of a player up there and went on to Duke. You know anything about Eli Pancol?
That's pretty much what I know is right there, and a guy that, when the Colts signed him last year, he had kind of been out for a little bit, as far as not being on a practice squad or not being with the team. So it's all about training on your own. Good for him for taking advantage of the opportunity. I still think that realistically, he's probably looking at trying to get a practice squad spot, which he had at the end of last year. But if you are getting reps with the ones with Alec Pierce being out, to me that's a good sign that he could be a practice squad. And frankly, it's early for us to kind of do the whole training camp math thing in terms of roster math. But my guess would be 4 tight ends, 4 wide receivers is what this group breaks with. Again, that would be depending on injuries. So let's say if Alec Pierce isn't ready for the season opener, which we hope is not the case. But if that is the case 6 weeks from now, maybe then you carry a 5th wide receiver on the active roster to start. But my guess would be if everybody is healthy, you're carrying 4. Would be my guess.
Only 4?
Yeah, I think so. Because I'm not sure they're going to ditch are you going to keep Will Mallory as your 4th tight end?
Yeah, I mean, I get you have Mallory, but I just think, especially given Pierce's health, I'm trying to jot it down right now. Pierce and Downs are obvious.
But you also got to remember that it's easier.
Obvious.
It's easier to bring guys up from the practice squad than it used to be. You can stash positions on the practice squad, and they've carried 3 wide receivers on the practice squad most of the last few years since we've expanded the practice squad to 16 guys.
So, Rake, we were talking about it earlier. We saw Deebo Samuel get snapped up in free agency. He heads back to the 49ers?
Correct.
Yes. Yeah, 1 year, $7 million reportedly.
Do you think the Colts should seriously try to get a veteran receiver right now, or can they wait and see where Alec is in his recovery, where the depth chart kind of stacks up, things like that?
I think they can wait and see, but I think if he's healthy, I'm not sure they're going to make a move. I think there is that level of belief in Ashton Doolin. I also think it is more of a belief in the aggregate. It is more about what you can do with Josh Downs. It is more about the role that Tyler Warren is going to play in this offense. It's more about how much you love Drew Ogletree and Mo Alley Cox in terms of blockers or being 6th and 7th offensive linemen. Again, if they make a move, maybe it's a sign that Pierce may not be ready for September the 13th. But I am of the opinion that they might make a move, it's not a guarantee they make a move.
That's Greg Rakestraw, ISC, where you can find all of Rake's work among the many, many places where you can hear him. Again, he'll be your voice for Colts TV here in the preseason. A week from Thursday, 2 weeks from, I guess now just a week from Thursday, and then a couple Saturdays in August for those home preseason games. Boy, thank you to Sebastian for sending me this and a couple on the text line. This Speedway gym looks super cool.
It's amazing.
I love this, and I think it's cool, Rake, that maybe a gym that doesn't get as many regular season crowds north of 1,000, like a North Central, Lawrence North, whatever, a Pike, et cetera, et cetera. I like that the Marion County tournament is going there. This will be semifinals and finals, I assume?
Correct. So the way the tournament is played is basically it's already drawn. I'm not sure if it's public yet. Maybe you haven't checked Harold's site for that for basketball yet. We have a blowout over here in the 40?
Yes.
Everybody all right? Just a tumble, not an injury? He looks young enough where he's going to be just fine. All right, anyway, to answer your question.
That's what Kevin's terrified of.
Round of 16 on a Tuesday.
All I need to see to say no.
And then quarterfinals on Wednesday, and those are all at sites. In other words, it's drawn to where this team plays at this team, and then the winner of game 1 plays the winner of game 2 at 4. Then we bring everybody together for the semifinals and finals. So
now, Nostalgia Me wants Hinkle for the tournament. But that's nostalgia me not recognizing there probably is more logistically that doesn't make it as easy as saying, Southport, you hosted a regional, a semi-state. We're going to shift that up to 49th Street.
Right.
There is a financial fee, I assume, that we could be looking at
Got to
here.
rent the building, yes.
So you think that could be a hindrance in potentially Hinkle hosting?
I would think that, again, that there – could it be at Hinkle? Sure. But that would be a greater expense. And so my guess would be is that – somebody locally will step up and host a regional at another facility here locally.
Because that's our only host site, super local, right?
Greenfield, Central, and Martinsville from a regional standpoint.
Okay.
From a semi-state standpoint, yes, those tend to be more north and more south.
Because we've sent a lot of those local teams out to Newcastle, right?
Correct. So Newcastle, and I've had 4A at Newcastle each of the last 3 years, if not maybe each of the last 4 years. Kind of think about it. I think it's the last 4 years I've been in Newcastle. And then Washington and Seymour are the other two southern semi-state sites. And the vast majority of our teams that we would follow locally feed south in the tournament and not north.
So, again, just to update everybody on that news, Southport, under some renovations there, they will be unable to host the next 2 years. Speedway going to be the host site for the Marion County tournament coming up in January. Lawrence North will be the host the following year for the Marion County tournament. We got to be close to getting high school football 3 weeks.
So practice officially starts on Monday. A lot of schools, there are these 2 moratorium weeks you have to take as a week off on the IHSA calendar. One of them is always the week of July 4th, where there's no on-campus activity. A lot of schools take this week as their second, leading into the start of fall practices for everything else, as in Monday. So some schools have had some workouts this week. A lot of them have not. Everybody starts fall practices on Monday. The only sport that is getting ready to have competition will be girls golf because they have to start earlier. That whole daylight thing getting in the way in terms of playing state finals and such on October the 3rd. And how are you, brother? Good to see you.
That's our TV crew right there.
Right. It's a good-looking crew right there.
I'm just honored. Ray could make the Indianapolis phone book sound good.
I would legitimately listen to the Yellow Pages read by Greg Rakestraw.
To bring that up, I tell you what, when I'm co-hosting for you on Labor Day weekend, as you get out, I'll bring a phone book with me. We'll get that for an entire segment.
9 o'clock hour, James could kick up the feet. If what do you got week 1? Do you know yet?
Brownsburg and LN. I can give you my entire schedule if you want.
Wait, stop there. Is that? I mean, you got Mr. Football on the field, right? One of those sidelines?
Well, you would think, and it may not be the 2 great wide receivers.
Is it the running back?
Could be Zay Moore, absolutely.
Now, he's
Purdue.
For that
He's going to Miami to Purdue, right? Correct. Miami, Ohio to Purdue, yes.
And Purdue's got a couple of Indiana commits. I remember we talked about
from
that.
Warren Central as well, yes.
Yeah, we talked about that when Steve Wiltfong joined us a few weeks ago. We got another segment here live in Westfield. I don't know if Matt Taylor was flagging you down for something.
I got to go to our courts and think about Snickers. You want me to come back after I do that?
Whatever you want.
Okay.
Zero pressure.
Let me go grab a Snickers and I'll come back.
Whatsoever. Greg Rakestraw live here in Westfield. As he mentioned, the crowd's really starting to fill in nicely here. Looks to be the most crowded day so far of Colts camp. It's an hour and 15-minute practice. If you've missed the news item from this morning, I'd call it a good news item. We'll share that with you in regards to the Colts on the other side. Live here, Drop Light Campus in Grand Park. It's the Fan Morning Show.
This is the Fan Morning Show with Kevin Bowen and James Boyd.
Final segment of the week. Plenty of Colts players now on the practice field as we're about to get underway. Day 3 of Colts training camp here at the Drop Light Grand Park campus where we are, Westfield, Indiana. Weather looks to be awesome again today. We'll see about tomorrow as they shift to a 4 o'clock practice time. They are full pads scheduled to come on Monday. And, James, some very good news for the Colts about an hour ago. Would you like to share that with our audience?
Number 53, C.J. Allen, the Colts' second-round pick out of Georgia, should be cleared to practice today after being removed from the physically unable to perform list. He had been on the list for a couple of days due to a calf injury that he had from a workout recently. So that's very good news for the Colts, and we'll see how much he does today in his first practice.
So, again, the Colts said that it would not be a long stay for C.J. Allen on the sidelines. 2 days is what it ended up being. If you want to continue to believe timelines, Alec Pierce, probably a week or two was the original thought there. A week would be Tuesday upcoming. That would be 6 practices into life here at Grand Park. If it stretched to a second week, that would be 9 of the 13 practices. Greg Rakestraw has joined us here in the 9 o'clock hour. Rake, anything on the weekend docket for you?
No, this is my chance to get away and chill. So the Indy 11 play tonight on the road. Originally supposed to be a national telecast. Their schedule got flipped, so they're going to be on CBS Sports Golazo. So, no, my schedule is here today, Soccer Saturday tomorrow morning, here tomorrow for practice, this thing called an off day on Sunday.
Yeah,
so
I'm going to say, I don't know if you know what those are.
This is, my kids are going to get confused because I've been around so much all week, and then this weekend too. I did mow the grass last night knowing that the weather forecast for the weekend is basically unfortunately. But if it's had to happen, a weekend where I don't have an outdoor sporting event locally is a great weekend for it to be a little rainy outside.
Now, you watch some soccer, obviously, some club soccer. Do you know anything about this streaming service, DAZN, that rumored to be airing some Pacer games this year? Because I believe they do some Italian Serie A.
So they are known. They're bigger internationally than they are here. They've done a lot of boxing. Is kind of what
a lot of combat sports.
DAZN is known for, and what they have is an already built infrastructure in terms of being able to handle team streaming and such like that. So I think that's why they are a favorite in terms of landing some NBA streaming deals. I just hope there is over-the-air television that is included as part of that for the fan base.
Right, nothing official on that,
right.
But, yeah, we await. And I would agree wholeheartedly on the over-the-air part to that.
Rake, pivoting back to Colts camp out here for day 3, Daniel Jones, you've seen him move around for a couple of days. How are you feeling?
Looks great. And, again, frankly, I kind of had that feeling given everything he had been saying, the brief stuff that we saw at minicamp. And, again, the quarterback's not getting hit anyway. But given his work ethic that we've all learned about in the last year plus, not surprised that he absolutely seemingly aced rehab whatsoever, because he truly seems to be what you want at the quarterback position. First guy in, last guy out. He may be boring as heck from a quote standpoint. That's perfectly fine. Be out there on the field. And, again, it is easy to see why he is beloved by Shane, by Chris, by a lot of the guys in the locker room.
Not boring as hell from a quote standpoint. A, Greg Rakestraw. B, Sauce Gardner. We played that interview for you earlier in the show. If you'd like to check that out on the podcast, that will be up. Biggest non-injury related question for the Colts is what? Non-injury related, non-quarterback related.
Pass rush to me. Because they're without Braden Smith, but you had kind of saw that coming for a year, and you make that draft pick of Travis last year. You kind of knew Michael Pittman was going to be done, and again, you can question whether Ashton Doolin can step in again. I think it's the line from Moneyball. We're going to recreate this in the aggregate. It's a third here, and a third there. I think that can happen. They're going to be young in terms of up the middle defensively, which isn't great. But then again, what are we talking about what they were last year when it was the older players that were there? It wasn't that great in the first place. I'm not sure we're freaking out about this big drop. It's, can Latu make the next step? Can Tui Moloau, who kind of got stuck behind 3 or 4 other veterans last year, can he make that jump? Is Caden Curry, even as a third-day draft pick, a guy that can help? Are Key and Clements going to pop in that position? Again, kind of like I said about the wide receiver position, you're kind of looking at the defensive end guys, again, in the aggregate. Kind of get 4 from this guy, 6 from that guy, 7 from that guy. But can Latu, again, he's been getting close. You got to take that extra step. You got to get home. You got to be a game wrecker for this thing to actually work. So to me, it's can the guys at defensive end all take that step forward? That's the biggest question mark I have coming in.
Yeah, and they've done the money ball thing on the defensive line before, and we've seen the results. So I think I that's where I'm scared, frankly. And look, I really like what they have at cornerback. I think there is chance there for an elite group. But I don't care.
Which means it gives you that extra second in theory.
Right. Which, again, I mean, yes, you're right, but I don't care if you've got Ronnie Lott and Deion Sanders and Darrelle Revis back there. You can't cover for 5 or 6 seconds.
And
I mean, that's just reality.
And I honestly, in my heart of hearts, I think they thought they had Hendrickson locked up. They thought that was the path, and then Baltimore put it to them and everybody else.
God, I can't wait to sweat today. It's going to be a good sweat day. Good workout out here.
Even only for an hour 15?
Oh, yeah.
I guess I have played enough golf, and this isn't – you see me always wearing long sleeves. I've learned that when I'm going to be out. I wear the breathable stuff to kind of protect the arms. But because it's the end of my golf season, like I think literally my last round of the year was yesterday, I'm not even putting like sunscreen on like face, neck, legs. I'm like, I've been golfing for the last 6 weeks. It's what I do.
Look at that. I like that. Now, typically on the preseason broadcast in years past, you have had an Irsay join you in the television booth. I believe last year you had Carly Irsay-Gordon join you in the booth. I assume that is in the works for one of the home preseason games?
That is in the works, and because we're going to have 2 games, we're going to have a special guest in the other. Professional broadcast teams. So the plan.
Tell us more. Tease more.
I can't. The plan is that for each home game, a special guest will join us in the third quarter.
That'll make you tune in.
Former player, coach.
Maybe. Someone that knows football, someone that fans would know.
All right,
someone that fans that would find interesting. Someone that I would know.
Oh, you would know. You know everyone, though.
Now he's got my brain racing. You got a guess, James?
I don't have a guess.
Vinatieri was the first thought based off the Hall of Fame aspect, but now I'm starting to think no on that. August 8th, next Friday. I think it's May August 6th. I think it's a Vinatieri in the Hall next week, chap.
Yeah, because Hall of Fame game is next Thursday.
Next weekend.
Yep.
Enshrinement Saturday the 8th from Mike Chappell right there. Oh, boy, now Rake's got me thinking. And we'll see if we hear from Carly Irsay-Gordon at all.
Just what
Colts
you
camp.
Want when you have like a 71-hour break where you got to think again. Is to think about things.
You got anything, James?
If I had to guess, well, selfishly, I want Bob Sanders to hop on the broadcast. Let's start the Ring of Honor.
No, part of me thinks I got to get away from the player and maybe think a little bit more.
I don't want to get away from Bob Sanders anymore. Come on back. Let's start making some more
offensive players in the AFC wanted to get away from Bob Sanders at all costs about 20 years ago.
Speaking of Bob, I am curious about A.J. Halsey today. You know, that's a topic that Hunter Wohler took some early starting reps in the spring, and then Halsey kind of took the last couple of days. We're 2 days into camp, but again, this is part of the first week of camp. When you get to day 3 or 4, Rake, that's when you see position battles. Okay, it's been this guy for the first 2 days. Now we're seeing this guy get a chance. So far, it's been Hunter Wohler, which I think if we got to September 13th, there'd be part of me that'd be surprised.
Right.
I know they like him a lot, but they drafted Halsey in round 3, and
Correct.
they love Halsey. And he produced, this is not a Nick Cross round 3 draft pick. And to provide more context around that, you drafted Nick Cross as one of the youngest guys in that entire draft.
He was 20.
You drafted him thinking almost a redshirt year and then try to let him grow into a starter in years 2 and 3. Halsey played at a high level all throughout. So, yeah, that'll be one to keep an eye on today for me.
I would think Wohler would also be available. You see some teams are going kind of 3 safeties in terms of their dime coverage. Or if you want to bring in a third linebacker,
certainly,
and because he is that hybrid that has bounced back and forth. My guess would be, in a heart of heart, they'd want Halsey to win the job, knowing that Wohler's a guy that will probably be in on 50% of defensive snaps as more of a piece player, whether it's dime safety, whether it's at a quasi linebacker in the box.
The one Indianapolis area gym that you have not been to?
Amazingly, it's Franklin Central.
Wow.
I have never done a game at Franklin Central. I've done football at Franklin Central, and this is years ago.
John Ashworth is fired up right now.
Thankfully, I got him in college, so I had them on the road. And I've had Franklin Central on the road. I've never done a basketball game in Franklin Central's gym.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And now they have gotten better at football, right?
They have gotten better at football, yeah. And again,
they're still in the HCC?
That was a major step up for them from a conference standpoint. So they're still figuring that out.
Yeah.
So Steph White told me I have to experience the Wigwam.
Well, the Wigwam is not an active gym currently. Hopefully we get back to that being the case. It's not been active now for
Is
the
there
better part of
some
15
rivalry?
years.
I'm trying to think of the rivalries that are like.
Well, that's the old North Central Conference. So Anderson, Muncie Central, Anderson, Marion.
Okay.
Because
she was telling
Donnie
that,
Bowling's made them better, but they play their games at what used to be Highland High School.
Okay.
That is now where they play, with
Yeah,
seats about 3,500
That's
or so.
big time back in the heyday.
Yeah, Wigwam was north of 9,000.
I got to go over to Chaps Beach Grove here. He's repping today. He's
I
always repping.
I would assume that's a Katie Gerald's championship T-shirt. Oh, that's the boys' championship from 5 years ago or 4 years ago.
53-43. I'm reading Chavs back.
Over Mishawaka Mary. I was on the call of that game.
Did I see Max Clark got called up?
He did. Yes, he did.
Franklin Community, not Franklin Central, to be clear on
Correct,
that.
two different Franklins.
Yeah, that's awesome to see here. Hit a home run when he was at Victory Field last, I guess it was a couple
I think it was
ago.
in his first at-bat of the series, I think.
Because he's the leadoff. I'm trying to scroll through my box scores right now to see if he would have. It looks like the Tigers didn't play yesterday, so we'll see if Max Clark gets in the lineup at all. They've got the Athletics coming up. All right, day 3, Colts training camp.
Let's go.
Drake Query has got you covered here. I believe Ashton Doolin going to join him after practice. Thanks for spending this week with us. We'll have you covered here coming up Monday and Tuesday as well. Everybody have a great weekend.